Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. How's everybody doing today? Happy Wednesday / Thursday. Yeah, welcome Empty Sprue. John, I see ya. Nog, good mate. Yep. What time is it in that small island in the Pacific? What time is it? Of noon? Noon in New Zealand? You get the big island. Darren, welcome. Andrew. Soggy, Naples, Florida. You know, we had that heat wave. You guys probably keep hearing about this heat wave, but Portland heat wave is mid 80s today, and it's kind of nice. Miami, welcome, Joe. Mike, you're off now. Yeah, 1 p.m. in okay, thank you. So yeah, I think between Tokyo and you, it's about 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 across all that, which is hopefully we get some of you Southern boys. Howdy, James. How you doing today? James, are you the one with the SD tanks from Mang? Is this the same name? Same James? Squid Lips, Montreal. What's up, buddy? Yeah, we got some Canadians. See Sylvain from Quebec. Salut. Ready to spend the evening watching the stream. I'd have to leave before the end. It's the other 3 hours more. Nah, I'm gonna try to keep it to 2. I have a TV date at 9 to watch a show with a friend of mine in another city. So I'm hoping 2.5 hours at length. I'm pretty well prepped. I've been prepping for 2 days. So, yeah. Luis, hola from Puerto Rico. Nice. Lee, back from Georgia. At 6 while waiting for you to start. Thank you. Yeah, no different one. Okay, James, no problem. 'Cause sometimes there's so many crossover names. I'm like, who's who and who's what, and I forget. But yeah, speaking of those SD stuff, there'll be some SD stuff coming. If you guys don't know what super dimensional stuff is, those are those little cartoon stuff, and they have them in both Gundam, the tanks, all that stuff. Mang has them, and then Bandai does the Gundams too. So there'll be some stuff coming. Jason, welcome. Yeah, hoping to get a few of you East Coast guys. Dan, there you are. Yeah, me too. I've been trying to. Obviously, you get requests and all that kind of stuff, but it's there's no magic time. You know, especially West Coast US, we're in kind of like the worst time zone for like everybody if you're trying to catch a full global deal. But I figure we'll shake it up a little bit. We'll mix these up a little. The problem for now is if this temperature, it's not bad today. If it gets to like say 90 plus, 40, 45 Celsius or whatever, this sun's over here, and I've got I got a blanket across the window right now, and it's still cooking pretty good. That's west that way, north. Canada. British Columbia, Canada, West Canada, Western Canada. But yeah, it's so far pretty mellow summer after that peak heat wave of about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. It's calmed down. It's some places still cooking pretty good though. I know Craig Cole, if you're out there in the chat, if you're working, I'm not sure, but I know Central California stuff and the fire season is going nuts. Mike says the YouTube stuff helping out the mojo for starting new projects. I know you mentioned in the video this is now a job. Yeah, it's been a job for a while, but hoping this helps break that. Yeah, so it's a good little comment there to warm up on. Basically, yeah, 8 p.m. Central for Corey, bedtime in a bit. Yeah, you're fine, buddy. Yeah, 5:30. Yeah, you get up early. Yeah, I mean, when you put your name on the door of anything entrepreneurial-wise, if it's a passion, which is usually what that's about, if you're a chef or, in this case, a scale modeler, you do have to balance that. And the work part for me really comes from the scale models. This stuff is fun. In fact, I think if you watch the streams, you can tell I'm genuinely pretty good mood. But it's the business stuff, the daily runnings of stuff, shipping, dealing with international companies sometimes and everything. Jeremy, how are you? Matt, welcome. New York. Joshua Lee, had to set the reminder so I'm gonna keep missing that out. You're fine. Glad you're here. 3002, that's all I'm calling you because I don't know what the first part is. So much show melt. Yeah, I saw that the other day. Holy crap. Mount Hood is normally white cap, and it's like, it looks really beautiful, but it's, the heat just melted everything. But yeah, to that comment, Mike, about work and this stuff, the modeling part is still good for me. The mojo, the passion, the kits, the tools, paints, all that stuff, still on point after 9 years of RSP, then, you know, half a decade or more before with magazines. It's never been about this. It's always been the struggle of shipping a heavy book around the world. That's a struggle. Dealers dealing with hobby shop owners, what they go through. You know, they'll unload on you sometimes. You get all that. But yeah. Manny, welcome from Ohio. Lufraum. Hello, hello. Good evening to all. Learn on a Wednesday. Yep. Clinton, there you are. Phil, welcome. Conan, yeah. Got a nice little group going here. Yeah, we'll get started in a few minutes. What are we, 6:06 my time? Yeah, we'll give everybody about another 5-10 minutes. Say hellos, get that out of the way. Early questions. Refresh. If you're going to ask me a question in stream on the chat, type the word question in all caps, followed by your question, because then I can catch it and see it. Sometimes when you guys write these long questions out, you guys get talking and the chat moves up and I'll miss it. So when I scroll back up, I can catch a question a little bit easier. That's usually how that works. Yeah, Sylvain, yeah, our sprint race. What's today? Wednesday, so it'd be Thursday. Yeah, so what's that? I don't know when that does it. Friday, Saturday? When they run the sprint race on Friday or on a Saturday? Because that'll determine Sunday's qualifying, right? The results of that. And it's no fueling, no tires. You pick it, you go. They pre-qualify that, run the sprint race. The finish of that order is the starting order for Sunday's race, something like that. And I think it's 100 kilometers, which is what, like 50, 60 miles, something like that. So we'll see. Silverstone is always one of my favorite. Anyway, Silverstone and Spa are my two high-speed favorites for sure. I was bummed about Melbourne. No Australia race this year, and I know you guys down there, Jesus, the lockdown's coming, but going, you know, between Sydney and Melbourne and everything. So, yeah. Yeah, John Fossey, consider yourself lucky if you still have a local hobby shop. This is very true. 17 laps, Jose. Thank you. That's not long. That'll go quick. Okay, it is on Saturday. Okay, cool. So how do they set the sprint? Do they do like a pre-qualifying for sprint? Do they actually do a 1 lap timed, or they just take your fastest practice time? I haven't paid that much attention. I know you guys are probably on point with this. I've been prepping for this, so that's why I'm not paying attention. Yeah, Portland, when I moved into Portland in 2013, I think it was early 2013, there was one hobby shop in the neighborhood. I forget the name of it. It closed shortly after, maybe a year after that. There's one train store locally. I'm not sure if it's still there. I visited and it was mostly just trains, really empty shelves though. But I think there's some Vancouver, Washington, across the river, across the Columbia. There's a couple hobby towns. I think there's 3 up there maybe. And I know we've got some Hobby Lobby type stuff, but you know, those don't really count. we know what you mean. You know, yeah, it's just how it is. Yeah. So yeah, yep. They're for a while doing sprint races and mountain biking, determined the start order, but they call it a short course race. Yeah. Yeah, and I know other car racing series do, and motorcycles and stuff, and there's some other, I think F2 and F3 do some sprints and some other styles. You know, hey, I'm old school. This is just dumb to me. I know it's fun and cool, but fuck off. Just race the cars. And get rid of the budget caps. Oh my God. These companies, I mean, I know Williams and everybody need to move up the pecking order, but I just believe F1 should just be a little bit more of an open checkbook situation. These companies aren't hurting for this kind of stuff, and no small teams struggle, but small teams have always struggled. Just been how it is. Just don't want it to become IndyCar. So James Lynn asked quickly, does Mission Models paints generally look more thicker than it is after some thinning? No, not really. I mean, some, we'll talk about pigments a little bit. Because it's organic, you do have a variation between what the colors look like. And that's building experience over time of when you pop open this. I know some of the colors do be a little bit thicker, but that's also the same with oil paints, which are often organic pigments as well. So usually when you thin it, and I will spray later today. We're going to go through some hand painting, sponge, and then the combination of the two. We'll start with this. We'll start with the hand work first, and then we'll move into airbrushing stuff. We'll talk about my test stuff, how this went, I've got some other test pieces I'll talk about that I sprayed earlier this afternoon, and we'll talk about that. All the paints sprayed today will be mission models, and because I know there's probably the harder of the ones to work with. But I do have some blanks. If we get far enough to get some blanks going, we'll do that. They're prepped and ready to go, like with little bolts and scribing and stuff. But I do have also, I want to do some stuff on this guy, fresh color and then chip. We might get some color on this guy. We'll see how this goes. And then we'll use some of this guy too. So we're going to cover some bases today. And we'll start about 5-ish minutes or so. Get some early questions out of the way. All that fun stuff. Because when I get going on this particular stream, Mr. Pigment, get out of there. This particular stream, I'm going to try to get through a program for you guys, if you will, because I want to get this, I want to get this, I want to get this. And we'll do some wood. I've got some fresh wood. I did some painted wood. These are basswood, not plastic painted to look like wood. It's actual wood. We'll talk about that. I did all that today. That was pretty fun. And then we'll talk about adding some chips onto pre-painted parts that you might have want to go back and chip and stuff like that too. So we'll cover some ground today. We'll get through most of it. And I even have some hairspray decanted, which will be your chipping fluid conversation. So we might even airbrush some hairspray. But let me get caught up here. You guys are rolling. All right, dye and breed, yeah, and then brick and mortars for everything. Let's see, let's go up a little bit here. Christian, there he is. What's up? Welcome. Yeah, welcome. There he is. Greets from DC. Pete. Okay, gonna go out of here. Sure, give me drying. Yeah. Learned on a Wednesday. Jose, yep. Sure, we have none but me. Yeah, there's for a while doing sprint races. Okay. Yeah, I'm caught up. Dance's bummer. We have one shop does scale model. Yeah, a lot of the RC shops took over your traditional hobby shop stuff. So oftentimes you have to hit an RC shop for all your, if you're buying glues and paints and stuff like that. If you want to buy it in whatever, most of it's online. So yeah, you're not gonna get rid of the halos, Lou Fran. Yeah. The windscreens on IndyCar are way worse. So I'll take those halos any day. Let's see. Illinois hobby shops are spread out now. Yeah, you guys are all talking. Yeah, it's always a sad conversation. My boys in Hornet Hobbies. Trisha and Dave. I mean, that was pretty sad when that happened too. But anyway, let's get back to happier times. No hobby shops in Miami. No, dude, you're busy, Joe. What do you think? Miami has so much going on. I'd be surprised if there's hobby shops in Miami. That'd be awesome. Y'all like salsa dancing in the hobby shop. Yeah, James, thanks for the answer. I've never been to Wings and Wheels. Is that still going in Toronto? Is that one survived? I've driven by it. I've not been in. G said, hey, just got back from the beach. Whatever, dude. Don't even be this way. No, you're fine. What's up? Yep. In your experience, do you add a bit more thinner to your primer? Just depends. Some primers over time get a little bit thicker. You'll get some. In a general paint conversation with pure paints, oftentimes, especially water-based pure paints like Model Color, Mission Models, Life Color, the non-thin Life Color stuff, the older school that's a little bit thicker, they'll evaporate out a little bit over years. So you'll get a thicker concentration, but you just adjust your thinning to compensate. So yeah, you have to be, there's none of this is like science. This is, half of this is art, half of this is your gut, your butt feel, like when you're driving, seat of the pants, and then half of it's science. So that's what, 150%. Don't listen to my math. Yeah, but that's kind of what I mean though. Yeah, what's up, Shar? How are you? Forrest, welcome. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. Let's do the YouTube algorithms. We're doing well. Yeah, everything's going really well with that. So I appreciate all the love you guys are giving. So let's a few more questions here. We'll get started in a few minutes, guys. Just going through some questions and greetings when you guys give me a chance to roll in. Yeah, I'm a little bit slow roll. Question, Darren Tour. Is that how you say that? Tour? When doing a vehicle with a 2D paint, with a second paint coat, Panzer 4 and Tinker 1, okay? Would you weather the Panzer Gray first? Nah, it's a waste of time. I know a lot of people talk about that. You're gonna find, and I've tried it, sometimes in like the whitewash conversation where you have a lot of the tank showing underneath, you can do that. It's half a dozen one, six of another. It's my opinion, it's a waste of time. You can, with OPR and kind of how you can feather stuff and get kind of translucent stuff through, you can build age from the top down a little bit easier, more efficiently. You're kind of doing it 2 or 3 times. If you're going to prep this stuff and then top coat it and then weather it again, it'll quickly get hidden. You'll be surprised how fast stuff gets hidden with the second coat. So no, you can, it's not a hard answer. My personal preference is no. I would just a waste of time. The only time I would probably do that on a regular basis was some like really juicy stain that I want down early, and it would just have to be specific to something leaky or maintenance area or something. But on armor, you know, well kept armor, even combat armor, you're just probably not going to require it. So Mike says, want to pick the new Tacom Panzer 1. Is that the 16 scale you're talking about? Yeah, you guys be prepared for shipping coming. Yeah, you guys are, this is the tip of the, or the base camp, if you will, of going to Mount Everest and shipping costs globally. It's going to get ugly really fast, but if you guys don't know what's coming. I hate to say this, but it's out of Japan, out of Asia, everything is, it's not going to be fun. Okay, so yes, wheels and wheels on one of the few left. Okay, good, as long as they're still going. Well, and that's the thing, is they survive. So with Hornet hobbies out of the, in terms of competitive landscape, they're going to replace basically 2 shops now. So I would imagine Wings and Wheels, if they survive, will probably do okay. You know what I mean? I've always had to add a bit more thinner to MMP primer. Yeah, no, it's fine. You add a little bit more thinner, you're fine. Like I said, it's kind of a 20 to 30. You know, if you're shaking the primer, where's my primer doohickey here? This is your red oxide. I'll switch the cameras in a sec. This is pretty, I can hear it. You know, and then some of the thicker ones you can kind of tell, yeah, you might add a drop more. It's no big deal. What's important though, with the primer, we'll talk about it again, is emulsion, which is the mixture. So when you do add your thinner to the primer in particular, it's really important that you mix that properly, thoroughly. Spend extra, 5, 10, 20 seconds stirring that up really good, because that emulsion is what catalyzes that primer. And if you kind of whip it quick and jim it out quick, and some of the primer's hitting raw almost, it won't catalyze. So you'll see some stuff if you're not careful. You do have to take your time, take extra little bit of, half a minute to a minute. Yeah, so close enough. Yeah, I know, I'm trying. The names are tough for me. Mike, get them from China. They should be free post. Yeah, you guys are through eBay. Yeah. I use a lot of eBay stuff. Yeah, eBay's still kind of a big store now. Josh says, how are you? Yeah, no, you're not late. We're still, it's only 17. We'll give me 3 minutes. We'll go at 6:20. We'll roll here in 3. You're gonna get a gangster now with some multi-layer chipping. I don't know how far we'll get with multi-layer chipping hairspray. I did a test on, here, we can switch cameras now. Get you guys, we'll put that over there. Okay, let's put this up here. So this is my test piece here. I did a few of them, but we'll talk about this first. This is their gloss. This is all Mission Models paint. Everything tonight will be Mission Models paint. So just when I say they, I'm not going to repeat. I'm not using any other brands particularly tonight. We'll talk about other paints in a future stream and stuff like that. But this was a primer gray primer first. I painted a rust layer on this, and then the blue hairspray in between the 2 colors. I tried to do like a non-metallic light aluminum color. That's actually not gray primer, but it kind of basically looks like that. I probably could have put a little aluminum or some a little bit more metallic in this. This is supposed to be like a navy job. So there's zinc chromate, and then their gloss navy blue from World War II. So I've got kind of like maybe like a civilian look here, rusted chips coming through. Let's get up here. Let's see if you guys. So what I did on this side here is I did the little glue stipple. Where you brush it on the glue and then you stipple to get a little bit of a cast. Okay, come on, zoom. You can kind of, there you go, you can kind of see. So there's a little bit of a texture on this side. And then I sprayed the rust, and then I was playing with some stuff. And then it's just this is actually a Russian cockpit blue color, but I just civilian color for that. And then here's your classics over here, your World War II guys. You guys can't get enough red primer or Dunkelgelb. Straight up a Mission Models red primer, hairspray, just a Dunkelgelb, whatever their regular color is. And I did actually a 3-tone over here. You can see the green coming through, and then a whitewash on top. And one of the things we'll talk about when we get to airbrushing later in the stream. So this one here is just the same thing. This is red primer, hairspray, and then their regular straight RAL Dunkelgelb color, their earlier war color. And I intentionally went heavy to see you guys are struggling with this, to see what the problem is. There's a lot of emails from me over time coming to, hey, I'm struggling with this particular thing. So we'll have a conversation when we get to it. So that was that. And then over here, so the 2 on the right, they're all basswood. This is the wood that's in one of the books. It was on. I've got it jammed on the Stug 3, the winter one. So I pulled it back out just to show. And then these two I did today, and it was just you can just see the raw basswood color. And then this one's more. This one's kind of. This one might be balsa wood. It was really porous. And then I painted it up. And we'll go through wood painting today, later on today. So that's what was going down. Yeah, so I don't know. This was multi-layered chip. Technically, this was multi-layered chipping. Wood, aged wood, hairspray green, chipped it, hairsprayed white, and then chipped the white. Same this, but just in a red scheme. And then some acrylic wash. No oils yet, but just acrylic washes to kind of. It was a lot of fun. I had to stop. I was like, dude, I got to stop. I got work to do. Yeah. Hello from South Korea. Omnipla channel. Woo! Welcome. Oh, you're awesome. Thank you. Larry Russo, there you are. Welcome. Yep. Model guy, there you go. How's it going? Yeah. So we'll that's exactly what I'm going to need to do on my Corsair. Yeah. And it was nice because I haven't played. You know, they have 170 colors, and a lot of companies, Model Color, Vallejo. I mean, they have like 8 billion colors. These guys. Tamiya, you can use a lot of their colors because they kind of did like 90 or 100. So it's a little bit easier to get through most of their color range, but I'm still getting through the Mission Models range. And you can see it's a gloss paint. So it's got kind of a satin sheen. Now I will preface this, and this will have again, I'll repeat myself later. I'm not a huge fan of test pieces on flat styrene. I know it did in the books. That book was written in 2016, 2017 when I did those test samples on Tanker 4. And I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. I thought it would be cool, a neat way to do it. Flat plate chipping, even with stuff on there, panel lines and everything, it just doesn't work the same as when it does on a model. So you will struggle. If you're trying to do this on these and you're struggling, I'm gonna tell you right now, just grab a model. Grab a turret, grab it something, go to this. Test on these things. Test on as close to what you're gonna do as you can. You will find you'll get a much better one-to-one relationship. So, but I'll talk about that later too, what goes on with that. But anyway, hello South, yep, there we go. Dan says, man, I use that brown, black 50/50 under my lighter colors and it looks as good as shipping there. Yeah, darker colors usually can be almost anything. There's even I've tried it to a heavy extent where you really try to get your base layer a heavy interest in it. What I find, truth is, yeah, you lose most of it. Like this one here is just straight up, just standard rust. Too close maybe. So this color here, that orangey rust color, just straight up out of the bottle, just a rust color. Yeah, it was this one. And it's just, I find when you chip these things, what shows through, and if you're doing all sorts of cool shit to your rust layer, you never see it. It's all up here. It makes you feel better. You don't really see it. If you do your chips correct, you just won't do that. So let's see. Yeah, so I was wondering when my test plates look like crap. Yeah, it's tough, Darren. It is. And you'll see me. We'll try to get to one here. I got to hustle now. Time to go. But yeah, we'll talk about that. So I recommend not the flat plates, even though it's a good learning tool, but probably for the fact that you make a lot of mistakes on these, and so on and so forth. Roger, there you are. How are you? Welcome, Roger Fabricini. Is that right? Fabrocini. Yeah. Orange County, right? Fantastic aircraft modeler. Long time hyperscale. Okay, so let's do we'll start with getting the camera to zoom. All right, you guys know that routine by now, right? Okay, so let's get a little bit of water here. Let's put the hairspray stuff out of the way. We'll do hairspray for like the second half or the second 3/4 of the show. We'll hustle through this pretty good because this actually goes pretty quick. Get my stuff here. This will be acrylics right for now. Most of this you can interplay with enamels, oils as well, the process. Leo, there you are, bud. Welcome from San Diego. A lot of California people in there. Well, it's only 6 o'clock, 6:30. It's beautiful out still. We don't get dark till like 10 almost. So, but just make sure. Oh, sorry, Sylvan, I missed this question. Yeah, put question in caps, guys, so I can see it. Sorry. Why would you decant hairspray from the can and spray with airbrush? Yeah, so there are times, 2 reasons that I did this tonight. This little guy. This is my original. I've had this for 2007. 1, to showcase chipping fluid, because a lot of you don't have this guy. So, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about airbrushing the clear. we'll talk about airbrushing the hairspray. And then the purpose of that is I do find it easier for small parts sometimes, which is very common, especially for stowage or diorama work where you're doing field drums, tires, stuff around. You don't want to hairspray the whole thingy. And sometimes you're kind of doing through a project and you add something to it and it's not chipped, but you have the ability to chip it. So it gives you that option. So yeah, I do airbrush it on occasion. And then the chipping fluids were designed specifically, I think Mig's comment on this was, if I remember it, I think it's for also an additional reason I'll mention is that one, it provides globally a product for everybody that's equal. So once you master chipping fluid, you can buy it at any store and you're always going to have an even thingy because hairspray isn't the same across the planet between the various brands and everything else. The second reason I think too is for smaller companies like hobby companies like ours, creating an aerosol and selling an aerosol globally is expensive because you have to certify that for all the different countries for the pressure, the chemicals used in that and stuff like that. So I think it is also for making a fluid version like this, you know, is easier and cheaper for companies to handle. I think that's one of the other reasons too. You don't see a lot of aerosols except for companies like Tamiya, Gunzi. These are much bigger companies than where the Spanish companies came up from in terms of that conversation. That makes sense to me because you have to make those decisions as a business owner. You just can't afford to. Okay. So brushes. Again, my brushes are basically the same for chipping. And then we've got a bunch of sponges. Real quick on sponges. Let's put these in frame. So here we've got packing sponges, various kinds. They have different perforation levels. And then what I do is I like to come in here and you kind of get a little angry with them. And then you can cut them up. You've got some smaller pieces that you use with tweezers, you know, so you can do this kind of stuff. You hold it like this and you dip it. So the reason I would probably default to just a sponge, you can hand paint stuff and we'll do some here in this. We'll start with hand painting. What I need is this guy. Let's get this guy out of the way. So I need my little thingy here. So I'm gonna put some chips up on the thing here. Oh, and that is the one we did the other day. So what I'm gonna do, when you start doing layered hand painted chips with a sponge or a brush, it's the same thing. Hairspray of choice is Tresemme, and I'll show you later, Conan, when we get to it. Wisdom, welcome. Let me get kind of actually, do I want a darker red? Let's see here. No, let's go lighter. Okay. Yeah, let me get my process order correct. So I'm just mixing a red and kind of got a little thing of water here. And this is water-based acrylics, so I'm not doing anything fancy whatsoever. This is pure, I need my eyeballs. This is pure hand painting chips, guys, 101. And so wet palette guys, figure painters, you can take it to that level, no big deal. Okay, so I've got just number 2 wet with water. Mixing kind of this makes me more important. Let me get a little bit more red out of that, hold on. I'm just mixing zinc chromate yellow and insignia red, just in case you care. And I'll put color names later if you guys want those in the description. It's up to you guys. Okay, so I gotta get a little bit closer. So I'll start with the brush. No big deal. And I want this color slightly lighter. You may not even see that. So this is a layered hand paint chip process. Probably could have gone even more orange. It's fine. Actually, you know what I need? I need some white. Get a little more contrast so you guys can actually see this. Unload the brush, rolling it back to keep my tip sharp. Can you see it? Okay, see how I'm holding? I'm really supporting myself. There we go, get a little contrast. This is 187, so I'm probably way over, a little bit way over scale. Which is why hand painting to me can be a little bit of a struggle sometimes. It's also a little bit on the slow side because I have to hustle. That's okay. Yeah, you can do. Let's see. And of course, have your reference. I'm gonna do this all day. My glasses keep bumping the camera, sorry guys. So I'm putting down a light color, lighter than the base color, relatable to the base color first. And good eyeballs are great. So I'm at a these are a 2.5, 3 magnify, something like that. You can even roll your optivisor. The tighter you get this process, the better it's gonna look. Make sure you guys can see that. If I can zoom in further. Yeah, it's about as far as it'll go. So I'm just getting this, and I'll pull it up to the camera so you can see. Give me a sec. Let me get this down first, guys. So I'm just building up a little bit of opacity. This will be the base area where they chip. These are just ladder rungs, no big deal. Not really care about this. So we'll do brush first, and then we'll switch to a sponge. Same process though. So you can see here where I've got just kind of a lighter tone of orange. And that's just to play off the red. That's not the rust yet. It's not a rust chip right now. So we'll show you how we do this here in a second. So it's basically a two-part setup. And you do the same thing with the sponge in a second, but it's the same idea. Okay, let me get a little bit sharper brush. And then I need, this will pick up mahogany flight deck. It's like a dark brown color. So. Okay, I just wet the brush a little bit. I don't really thin this too much. Mechatro paints I find are pretty thin out of the bottle. Kind of between a model color and model air in terms of consistency, their viscosity. Now I gotta kind of get down. So let's see. Okay. So now what you do is you chip in the middle of those areas and you leave some of that brighter color exposed. And that gives you kind of that layered chip, microchip look. And you can master this and get pretty good with this. Obviously, you know, Adam and Martin and those guys, they love doing this. I don't mind doing this, but to do a whole model like this is exhausting. So hold on here, I'll show you here real quick. We'll get up close here. I'm just trying to show process more than anything else if you guys are not familiar. Just because my eyeballs are, yeah. So I'm kind of just kissing the high spots a little bit like a dry brush. And then I leave some of the orange color I put down. And you can kind of see how it starts to look like a layered, and we'll do it with the sponge now too. Sponge is a little bit easier because it leaves a little bit more of a randomness. I go almost immediately, Mike. So he asked, how much time do you have after you spray the color you're going to chip? I use to me acrylics. By the time you clean your airbrush, and then the hair dryer over the high hairspray. But again, we'll get all that when we get to that step. I'll make sure I cover that. Yeah, I'll cover all this stuff for you guys. Yeah, James, it's the stuff with the paint, those stuff like that where your stuff's going bad. No, I've never seen that before. I don't know what happens with you guys. Maybe temperature extremes, cold or hots. You know, if you're in a place, a garage or something. Primers don't kick over anything. The poly is shelf life, but that's about it. It's like super glue. You know, seems like the gray one is basically congealed in a blob. Then just get a new bottle. Yeah, I mean, if you have those kind of things happen, I've never had it happen, and I hear these things, but I don't know what happens. Okay, so let's pull up the sponge. And again, this is not trying to be a Mission Models channel, guys. Like, this is what I use right now, but it's because I like the system, you know, and I'll help you guys a lot, but I'm not here to be like, you know, Joe Mission Models guy, if that makes sense. I'm not sponsored by them at all. I've worked with them, and we have a relationship, a friendship, but it's you know, I've used it a lot, so I will help when I can. Let's see. Okay, so I'm not even paying attention. Okay, so I'm doing this. So I've got the sponge, a sponge. Oh, here, sorry guys. Let me zoom out so you can see it. So I'm unloading this. So I'm tapping the sponge in there. Unloading this here. It's way too much. Just like dry brushing. It's the same basic concept. And what I'm looking for is kind of in there. You know, it's a little bit on the soft side. It's kind of this peach color, Georgia peach. Zoom back in here. Okay. I'm trying to do this by holding this, you can see that. Let's just. And it's better to go a little bit cautious at first, because you don't want to slap this and get a big blob of paint on there. Because you want your chips in scale. This is 187. So you can kind of see. Okay. And then, same as before, layered process. So what the sponge does is gives you that that kind of roadmap. You know, it puts down all those kind of shapes and randomness, and it has a little bit. I find a lot of people. It's probably the most popular method. You know, if we're talking about that. Jesus, camera, come on, work with me. Literally, just sometimes this autofocus. Sorry about that. I'll try to be more on point. I do need a cameraman. Okay. Same thing. Where do we put this? Okay, so hold on. The problem with this, with camera work and stuff, this is so microscopic, and I'm probably going to be heavy-handed just so you can see this with the way my setup is. So I apologize for that. Because I'm trying to do a professional level job, my friend. Focus. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that again. Because I can't hear you yelling at me. It's out of focus. This is what I'm talking about. It's a little bit harder for me to do the chat this time. I knew going in that this was going to be one of those. But basically, that's a hand painted chip. You know, when you step back, it's actually pretty small. Just getting mad glare tonight too. I didn't do anything different, but that's what because of the sun and the time of day for me a little bit. It's not my best work, don't judge, but that's a layered chip process. Yeah. Okay, so that's that, but let's switch to a little bit easier color to see here. So I don't do a ton of brush painted chips anyway, because to do that to the level I want it to be at, it's insane. It's like, takes forever. And I know Martin, these guys do it a lot and they always do that stuff, but yeah, let's see. Yeah, Toronto's both pretty darn cold and hot pretty days here with the humidity. On this interesting standards. Yep. Strike this up, but I have never had a bottle of any MMP go bad. If the only thing I spray, yeah, same here. I've never really, but I keep everything in my apartment, so I don't have extreme temps. You know, Portland's actually pretty mellow, so it's a lot of chemicals have temperature sensitivities. You know, if you're freezing or if you're super hot, anything over 85 inside the house, I'd be putting those stuff in the fridge. Some of that stuff, you know, polys and stuff like that. But let's switch sponge here. Let's see what it looks like. So like the wet sponge first. Same thing with brushes. You prep everything, get everything kind of prepped. Dab it out. Have to unload. The most important thing with any kind of process like this with a brush or the sponge for chipping is unloading, proper unloading. Yeah, you want to definitely I'm
trying to make a, I can go a little bit darker. Actually, let me make a, where's my, okay, I'll put just a drop of water there. Just making a thinner rust color. This color will pop on the silver pretty nice. So this would be a layered rust chip, kind of civilian style. I wouldn't really be doing this for military, not even Gundams, maybe some steel sci-fi. It's too much, but there you go. Let me switch sponges. That's why you dab it out. Where is my tweezers? And where's my little guy here? Lose it already? Let's get this guy. Okay. Focus, come on, be nice. That's way too much. That's crazy. Okay, but we're gonna have to, let's see. Let's see if we can fix that. And this is the struggle of tripping. I mean, it's fine to see on camera. I don't mind that I'm sucking right now. Sorry, it'll make it look good. Some of these are looking pretty good. That actually looks like shit, to be honest with you guys. I would not recommend that. Does not look good. Like if you think that looks good, whoops, that doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all. But it's salvageable. That's because there's too much water in the paint. It's better to go a little bit drier. There we go. That's where you should be at. See, I'm getting, oops, just a hint. Yeah, you can see that. That's pretty funny, actually. Look at Ronaldo, I forgot I had a chip. Fucking idiot. Sorry. Hey man, it's fine to see. Two ways to fix that. If this was, I would just probably knock that down with a little sandpaper, a little sanding sponge, just respray it the base color. That is, whoops, ooh, I went a little crazy there. Oh, that's okay. So get back down. So what then you have to do is switch to your brushes, go to your darker color. This will be your steel color. Most of this is rust steel chips, you know, but it's basic principles. Dude, seriously. Fighting everything tonight. Oh my gosh. Unload the brush, Michael. Make sure you guys can see that stuff. But the sponge gives you that map to come in here. Gee, that's actually not looking too bad now. I'm redeeming myself a little bit. I have some work to do. I have to work to do to impress you guys. But see how what I'm doing here, the important part of this, all jokes aside, is leaving some of, you don't want to do it all. So you want some of that light orange rust. Now I've started to already create some depth. That's actually not half bad now after I mess this part up over here. Let's see what we can do with this one. Let's see if I can redeem myself at all. Probably not. But that sponge gives you the shape. Gives you the shape and location. At this point in time, I'm not concerned about like where the chips are and everything like that. On my mental focus, the nice thing of this technique, when you do it correctly, like better over here, is once that sponge goes down, the hard part's done. That's kind of, this is actually really fun. I'm probably just, no pun intended, I'm a little rusty with the sponge. I spent so much time hairspray and airbrushing today. I should have done some sponge chipping. I thought it'd be like riding a bike. And again, I'd probably go a step up in magnification. I would probably put my optivisors on for this to get this perfect. You think I'm bumping the camera with my eyeglasses? I'm sure the optivisor would make it worse. So I can kind of salvage that a little bit. We're not quite done yet though, so hold on. So if this was a heavily corroded edge or something, you could probably get away with that. And what I'll do later in the stream is pull the oils out and show you what we do after the fact. Get back over here. Okay. Let's see here. There you go. There you go. There you go, Michael. The little pencil graphite. Just hit like the core center. Oops, off camera. Fuck me. Yeah, PG-17 this stream tonight. Okay. Just hits a little graphite on that. It actually looks a little strong on camera, but I'm just kissing the side of that. You can see a lot of the techniques when I do the weathering with the brush or stuff like this. I'm not attacking it, you know, in terms of using the tip of the brush. I'm oftentimes using the sides. Yeah, this is terrible. Don't judge. This is a lot better. That's what I was trying to go with, a little bit more. So yeah, I'll get some questions here in a sec. Yeah, that didn't look that bad. Because when you pull that away and you put that down, and then what I would do is come back in, and then with the oil paints, OPR, I can add depth and texture to the gray, pull some rust streaks down, do some of that. That's when you do that stuff. So right now I'm not trying to do streaking or anything, I'm just trying to get the actual chips down. Yeah, the one on the left, that's actually not half bad because there's that little bit of a curve on the hatch. Yeah, when the focus works, it's nice, right? Killing me, Smalls. Okay, we'll come back to that in a minute. We'll pull this guy over here because we'll do something on the back of that too. Okay, let me roll back up here. Dun, 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 dun. You guys are going. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I'm not getting into all that, guys, to be honest with you. That's why I'm not in the groups. It's just fighting, it's arguing, it's just becomes a waste of time. I don't worry about this stuff, truthfully told. No matter the brand, I just don't worry about it. If it works, it works. Whoa, Chris, there he is. How you doing, brother? How you feeling? Chris Paps, one of America's finest gunpla makers in stream. Ortiz, hi Mike, are you planning to make a video about rusty exhaust like those? Yeah, for sure. A straight rust video? Yeah, we'll see. I mean, but we'll do a lot of rusting over the course of time. James asked a question, would you ever consider doing a critique segment of builds your live stream view? Yeah, we could probably get into critique, but that's Chris's job. I joined Chris's streams to do the critiques. Yeah, he does a real nice critique build for Gunpla guys on his thing. Yeah, you are a good group. I love you guys. You've welcomed me with open arms, broken or not. Yeah, Tamia, come back to MMP. Yep. Finally cut up alive. Yep, okay. We're all cut up, honestly. Yeah, no, we'll do, this is still week 3 for me in terms of stream ideas and doing other stuff. Yeah, it's you got a lot of ground to cover. All right, so do I want to flick with? What do I want to flick with? All right, I want to do some speckling real quick, but maybe. Let's do a little.
So sometimes when you want to lay down rust, and I did this in Tank Art 4, get a little oil here. The oils work a little better for this idea, I think. Speckling acrylic is a little risky because it's like an immediate dry situation. The oil paints you can have fun with. Enamels too. I won't tape this down yet. We'll come back to this later. Let me take a knife. So what I'm gonna do with the speckling is I'm gonna speckle some rust on that yellow part there, and I'm gonna show you how that works out. Yeah, these are still good, nice. Okay, so this is the palette from Sunday? Yep. Let's work in here. Going to my brushes, my stash o number 2s. That one's not good. In the description for last stream, there's a King Arts. My order's on the way. I did order like 3 number 2s, a couple rakes to test out as replacements for these guys, which is out of production now, unfortunately. Okay, let me just get some. I'm gonna grab some orange and kind of get this going here. Come on. When you restart an OPR palette after a couple days where it's dry like this, you got to kind of juicy. This is where it gets really messy. Okay. Got just stuff everywhere tonight. Yeah, the sponge chipping, by the way, you'll just get the paint all over yourself because you're grabbing the sponge and all that stuff. That second hatch didn't come out too bad. Okay. Okay, so set him up, zoom back in. Let's go. Yeah, I'm happy you're here, Paps. Let's see here. What do we got? Where's my old? Here it is. So speckle. Speckles. This stuff. Flicking. So you load up the brush, get your color in there. I'm testing on the paper towel first. Okay, so let me get this. Okay, so I'm about like a centimeter away or so, about a half an inch for you non-metric dudes. Okay, is not enough on there. Juice this up a little bit. First time with the oils of the night, you're always gonna have to do a little bit more work just to prep to get that kind of flow going. This is normal. This is not a problem. This is just sometimes you gotta get it going. So I'm kind of get a good load on this brush a little. It paints out nice. It's not flicking. It's not just wet enough. Okay. All right, you got about 1 or 2 shots with this, so don't go crazy. Get out of the microphone way. Okay. I don't like that top one, but that's no big deal because it's oil paints. But that's just like a sponge in the sense that now I've got the rust chips down per se. Say this is the top that gets a little bit beat up. Hold on here, let me get a fresh blender. Okay, let's get that guy. Okay, get this out of here. Getting immediately jammed in here, I can tell. Got way too many things going on tonight. It made sense in my head how this was gonna go. Okay, so this is just a blender brush full of thinner that I've wiped off. Make sure I get the oil thinner. In the previous streams, I talk in detail about the products I use too. If you guys are new to this, I'll refresh later tonight, but I just want to get this stuff down. So all I'm doing is dragging some of these down. Remember this was clear primer with a flat coat on the raw plastic. Okay. Actually enjoy the subtlety right now. It's not too shabby. Get that off there a little bit, clean those up. See, if that was acrylic,
That would be a little bit tougher to deal with. And I can't get that kind of translucency there, because watch what happens when we get a little bit more serious now. Actually, look at that guy. Hello. Okay. Just raw. Okay, what do we got? Yeah. Any chipping technique requires yeah, F-ups are enough. Yeah, I like the Bob Ross. Turn your F-ups into, yeah. In fact, the key point of scale modeling on a weathering conversation in particular is a lot of mistakes end up being incorporated into things. You know, that on the right, yeah, I'd redo. That's not bad though. I'm okay with that. But this guy, oops, I want to put my oil. And we'll circle back to oils again later. So I'm gonna take, so this got kind of a soft, so what I'm doing here, so you guys can see. This is just the burnt sienna. Just gonna wipe that out. You want a real nice sharp tip for this. And because this is oil, okay, let's see if we can get that. Let's zoom as far as we can go. Okay. So come back in. You already have your roadmap, guys. That's why you do those speckling. That's why you use the sponge. That's the core reason for that. This is the magic part, is it's already done. So now all I'm doing, color by numbers. I've already done the hard part. This is just being precise now and taking patience and making sure I do this nice on camera. Don't look like an idiot. But that's not the hard part. So just come in here. And of course it's already, yeah, this is a problem with weathering at 75 degrees in the room. Summertime. But that's no big deal with the oils. I'm just loading up the rust again one more time. That. There you go. See how that diffused is around that spot? I'm not covering it up. So I'm just using the speckles. Let me get off camera for a second. And because this is oil, this is probably like my favorite non-hairspray type chipping technique. So see how that thing kept going down a little bit. Maybe that was like a scratch or something. Okay. So that's an application there. Got all my brushes out tonight, so I redid my brush stash because I have a lot of them. So now I'm gonna take a sharp, clean, brilliant. I put it down. I forgot where it went. But we're back to just a blending brush. I'm pulling from the bottom of those marks down. Hold on, I'll pull the model up to the screen in the camera in a sec. But see, I'm not trying to go like super streaky, strong, overpowering streaks. You want to build up the subtlety to help create that story. Chips are so powerful. A lot of you guys just slap these things on and the opacity's overpowering the section, if you will. And you're gonna find that your results are gonna be a little bit more enjoyable when you start kind of low key. And then what you can do, and this is why this palette is so gold. We've got some darker colors, browns over here. Open them up for a second. And it's the same concept. in some of these older oils. Pull up the dark color here. Unload, roll it out to the tip. Okay. So in just a couple of these, just turn it a little bit. There we go. Just trying to get the angle for how I can do this and show you guys. Oops, that's blocking the camera, hold on. And it's the same concept of being really steady-handed. Again, better the eyeballs, the better this will go. And you're just tapping some of those just a little stronger. See how I'm building that up now? I'll get to the chat in a sec, guys. And this guy's is a refresher. This is 35th scale. But the process is essentially the same for all scales. Since it kind of all is incorporated past pure chipping, I can start to do a little bit of the panel lines at the same time. Which is a little sloppy. So see how I got a little bit extra right there? Take your blending brush, stay calm. It's no big deal. Kind of brush that into the panel line a little bit, clean that up. But you can see how with the base color, in this case it's the plastic, see how you're already getting kind of a tint of the weathering colors, starts to filter things. This is actually why I like the oil so much, because you can come back and you can control this stuff so easily. Hair dry this. Yeah, so I'm just working with the panel line. The one streak's a little, that one chip's a little strong. Hold on, guys, and I will get the chat in a sec. So you know, just quickly knock that down, super gentle like. So I'm using that color to kind of pulling it over the edge of that hatch cover there. There's a panel line there. So by doing things this way a little bit, I can control the story of this piece a little bit stronger than basically putting a panel line wash all through that, getting that set up first. So this way, because I'll work my way around, I can kind of control that and create a little bit more interest as I go.
Let's see. Let's see here. Trying to catch a thing. You just did with the oil paint. Yeah. So if I'm gonna do a non-hairspray type chipping, the speckling of the oils down like that, that gets you that kind of, that gets you that down. I find a little bit more realistic than the sponge, even though for the sponge, this, I wanted it specific. So on a pre-painted model or something like this where I don't have the hairspray and all those other tricks, that's a great way to do that. What's up, Aaron? How are you? Yeah, I like the music tonight too, Sylvain. Yeah, I'm trying to scratch thing. You guys, it's all pretty quiet here. We're studying this. Dan, yeah, the whole group thing, sure. Yeah, I don't participate. Like I said, I'm not in Facebook groups at all anymore. But yeah, it's good. You just got. It's like a tool. All this stuff is just a tool for us to get better at. Craig, how are you? I'm glad I can finally catch a live stream. Recently bought 3 and 4. Hoping to get 1 or 2 sometime. Yeah, they're coming later this summer. Love these YouTube. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. What's up, sweaty balls? There you are. Go Ducks. Are you in Portland? Are you an Oregon guy? I don't know if Rick's gonna roll through. It's like, go Beavers! Yeah, at Chris Paps. Yeah, Chris Paps is been around the block a few times. He's a heavy hitter in the Gundam world here in America and big supporter of the community. Does a lot of great stuff with his own streams and with the other group of guys. They're really nice. Child of Mecca is another one. Bro Builder. Yeah. I do, Chris, just so you know, I'm doing a GPO4. I'm probably gonna maybe next Sunday, but next stream or two we're gonna be doing. Yep, there he is. I knew Rick would pop up. I knew he's listed somewhere. Yeah, I love it. Civil War. So that's oil paint chipping in terms of using the speckle process. Put that down. I love that method personally. You see, I got that one speckle that kind of went across at that angle, and I was like, well, it's oil. I could actually technically just wipe it off, but then I just kind of used it. So all those little original spots came from the speckling process. I didn't actually really do anything. Felt like cheating. And then you just go back and build up the opacity. So that's why when you do the speckles and stuff, sometimes it's a little bit easier to work a little bit more translucent and build stuff back up. Let's do this while we got the other stuff out. So drive sprocket, same kind of an idea. Let's see here. What do we got? That's the light Uncle Go, but where's my neutral tan? There you go. This will work. So just a drive sprocket, kind of an idea for my armor boys out there. Okay, so just taking another kind of a sponge. It's been kind of cut up. It's got different shapes. Let's wet it, get it kind of prepped. Unload the water, get the water out of there a little bit. Okay, just kind of tone on tone. Dry sprockets are a little bit physically easier just because of the shape and how it goes and how you kind of work with it. Just unloading on the paper towel. Actually, put a little white in. That's contrast is not enough for you guys to see that. Hold on one sec. Sorry about that. I'm too money on my color selection sometimes. It's too close. Let's see, where'd the eyedropper go? Did I lose the eyedropper already? Ugh, guys, thing's killing me. Okay, let me just make sure I'm using the right brushes here. The problem with using one brand of brushes, you can guess. Yeah. Okay, where the heck did it go? Here it is. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm a bit of a mess tonight, guys, I have to admit. Oh, that's way too thin. Hold on a second. All right, let's redo this. Okay, do a little bit of white. Drop of white. I just had to... Am I losing neutral tan? Oh, man, I tell you. No. The struggle is real. Now let's see if Chris will paint on stream one of these days. Oh my gosh. I think I need a drink. I'm not sure about this nighttime stream, guys. Just kidding. I'm just using a little water and a brush to mix this up. What is the
color's not even the same. What did I use? Did I do the right thing? Okay. Huh. Oh, because there's red in that. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay. Oh, guys aren't even seeing what I'm doing. So, recap, to catch up. So do a lighter than the base color, dab it on the surface. You can kind of brush and scratch a little bit. There's some old pigments and stuff on this. Then you'll come back in. Same basic idea. So what I'm trying to do here is, if I can stay in focus, get this so I can, if you guys see this, sorry. Basically dry brushing in. The darker tone. Actually, it's probably easier to go the other way. Trying to be a little bit cautious because it's, as you saw earlier, it's so easy to go too strong. You just don't want to go crazy with chipping. And the last thing I want to do is show you guys a heavy-handed process that just is ineffective. Most service vehicles, combat or otherwise, just don't see a ton of heavy chipping. It's really what you guys are seeing in scale models is out of scale. You know, when you guys say it's too much and stuff like that. You're just too large for what you're trying to represent. And then we'll put some graphite on this for the polished steel part. You can use whatever you like for polished metal paint, whatever. I actually prefer the pencil. And you can do you could actually do a layer of red primer and then a steel if you wanted to get a little bit more depth. So I'm just trying to angle this back and forth to really get kind of the brush at the right angle. So just kind of dabbing in something. I don't know if you can see the lighter sponge areas. You can actually see, if I have a criticism of this, you can see that's paint on paint, and that's the biggest, weakest part of it all. Is the fact that it's paint on paint. Your additive chippings are always going to be that way, no matter how good you are. I mean, you'll fool the eye to a point. Just hitting the bolt heads here. This has some previous hairspray stuff on it too, but that's old. So you're building up, so you've got the base color, a little bit of a lighter tone in there, and then you try to hit the layered center look a little bit where you're leaving some of that edge around there exposed. So just going back over little quick spots here. The beauty of this though is it does dry fast, and you can move right along. There's no need to stop to do anything. Same thing like with the train hatch stuff there. I find the graphite looks the most realistic. That's actually why I use it. And you could get really specific with it. You can go in between, you know, Sherman sprockets chip a little bit different than the German stuff. Live tracks chip a little bit different than dead tracks. Kind of a conversation, so just depends. Reference. Get some of these. And what happens is it looks really bright right now in some spots, plus the camera and the light's catching a little bit. The graphite does tend to, over the course of the weathering, you'd be doing this towards the end. Graphite's always one of the, almost literally the last thing I do. So if I'm about ready to get the tracks mounted, and say it's, you know, frools or something like that where you're gonna feed them through, what I'll do is I'll hit this just before I get the tracks on, in terms of a workflow process order. And then start feeding it through. I leave the dry sprockets and the idlers loose, and feed the track. And we'll do a track episode in the future for sure. Leave that all loose, and then when you've got everything on there, in position how you want it, kind of a thing, I come back through and I carefully, you know, just do a little dry brushing with a pencil. And there are other paints and products to use for this. It's, you know, there's tons of options here. I just prefer pencils in terms of just a HB or #2 pencil. Just puts on a nice polished metal look. I find it in scale for a lot of things. As you can see, this is 35th, and then you have 87th, so you get kind of do the different. You can see you get that little hot spot right there. That's nice. Yeah. If this was, I probably would have put like a red layer and then a steel layer, just to give a little bit more depth. And then you start polishing one or two of those off a little bit. You don't want to do all of them. And that's the trick to chipping. You know when to say when a little bit's experience for sure. But hopefully, is there any questions on the hand painted stuff? I don't use pure black and pure white. Nah, it's fine. I'm not gonna worry about that. I don't want to show you guys stuff I'm not gonna use. I don't ever use pure black or pure white, basically, so there's no point in me showing it. Night all. See you later, Corey. Hey, Brett. Hey, G. Howdy, Mike. I'm not sure what Brett. I know a few Brett G's. I don't know if you're Brett Green. I doubt it, though. If you are, welcome. Thanks anyway. Yeah, I probably won't show. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's more my clumsiness tonight, Christian, than anything else. It's just got messy really fast. And this is the hard part of chipping on screen, where you're going through like 5 different processes more than anything else, than not showing it. Get my camera work better. Dude, it's like late for you, dude. What time is it there? Just realized that Europe. I'm like, wait. Okay, let's see here. Let's move on to. Okay, so yeah, let's move over to the hairspray stuff. Let me clean some of this up here for a second. Bumping the mic. I'll do that thing. Okay, should we do that? Thinking this through. Let me straighten up here, guys. We got that guy. Yeah. So let me. Let's see here. Hold on 1 second. It's one of those where I keep putting stuff down. I keep forgetting where to put stuff. Okay, let's get these guys out of here.
Yeah, I don't do a ton of sponge chipping. Typically when I'm doing the weather stuff where I know I want the layers in particular, I'll build it up with the hairspray just because I find this result. You can see this here. You can see you can see how it's layered down. And I actually did that kind of on purpose and kind of to show that you're really going to see that kind of depth to it. Hairspray, hairspray, hairspray. So Phil Stutsinkas, 2007, did a big article. Did a Panzer IV, Hungarian winter, end of the war piece, late 1944, I think it was, over the winter of 44. Whitewash on top of a Panzer IV. Was best in show that year at Your Militaire. I was lucky enough to be there, and that changed my world, basically. I will feel. But yeah, he developed the hairspray for the purpose of what we're talking about here. And really it was so that he could put chips down over delicate surfaces and you know, if you got a lot of photo etch in your model and stuff like that. In the armor world, that's pretty prevalent, where all the tool brackets, especially German armor, you got to deal with a lot of those kinds of things. But what he kind of went through a training process. And up till this time, we had done stuff with like Marmite and some other stuff where you're putting your base color down, you're putting a layer of dissolvable something. And that's basically what this is. And I use the Tresemme, which you guys pretty much, if you follow me at all or all that stuff, real quick recap: aerosol can, fine mist, weak hold, don't get the mega holds, don't go the crazy girl stuff. This is a men's, and you know, when you have the hairspray row in the store, there's usually a men's and a women's section. This usually you find this in the men's section. And it has a low perfume count, it's not too bad. Phil, how are you? Hood night, Mike, gonna be up early for work. Everyone have a great night. Yep. Good night, good night. Question, Mike, will you touch on chipping using thinner to remove layers? I can. Yep. Now, Small World, I was at Euros 06 and viewed and was blown away with Phil's work. Yeah, I think Phil that year did the train. I think that was the rail one. Rick, if I'm correct, remember correctly, the trumpeter train with the flak gun on the back. I think that was 06. Too bad yeah, I don't know if I was at 06 or if I was or not. I missed 1 or 2 years in between. I was kind of pissed because I was collecting the little pins and I missed 1 or 2 of those. But anyway, what you do is you put down your color that you want the chips to be in the general context of steel, it's usually a rusty brown steel color or metal color. Can be any base color. Gunpla can be a Gundarium, aluminum, alloy, whatever. You know, aircraft, kind of a light aluminum and then a zinc chromate and then your top coats. You know, we've got 3-tone with the whitewash. You've got red primer. So that's kind of the gist of it. And then, you know, it's super powerful. Again, to the wood, it was just basically wood. It's raw wood. Some washes to kind of age it. And then I hairsprayed it, sprayed some paint over it, wore it off away, put some tape and mask and did some stripes or whatever. Same process. It's really fun. It's not that super hard. It's easy to control. And one of the things about hairspray is the reason I lean on the aerosols, I think I mentioned this before, is that switch here, get this working. So what you're really going to be doing, it's the pressure in the can and its distance and then your movement. And if you get too close, you have a lot of problems. So it's once you fine tune that distance and spray, you can repeat that. It does it really consistently. And I'll show you how we do that here real quick. So that's the gist of hairspray. You have a base color, a layer of hairspray, and then a top color. And you can use almost any brand of paint, enamel, acrylic, lacquers. The weaker the thinner, the weaker the bond, the better this tends to go. We've done a lot of work over the years now of using the various thinners with the paints. To me, it was kind of the leader in all this. I find Mission Models has just a little bit of a next level ability in terms of the quality and fineness of the chips you can get. You can see compared to my skin for scale, how fine you can get something. You can see I was trying some I was taking Q-tips and spinning it in the paint. You can see the level of scratches you get. It's pretty good, and that's all stepped down. When you look at this in real life, you see the white, you see the Dunkelgelb, you see the red layered up 1-to-1. And I'm going to show you guys later how to correct when it bleeds out. I put a number on that, and we had a little bit of a bleed problem. but you can see the camo green underneath coming through a little bit. So you do see, I didn't get quite enough of the brown showing, but you can see through this. I did all this yesterday. In fact, I could actually work on it still today. It's workable for a while. Most hairspray processes, it's hard to put like a hard number, but you can do this for, you know, up to a week usually. That's kind of the main window. 2 weeks, if you've done it really properly, you can get a good 2 week span of doing this, whereas the paint cures and the hairspray kind of stays in between. You can still scrub it for a while. Usually 3-4 weeks down the road, you're pretty good. Yeah, 3D bed. Okay, I didn't know that. All right, smells nice. Yeah, it has kind of a nice little perfumey, not super girly perfume, but it's a nice smell. Doesn't smell bad. I don't mind it too much. Okay, so let's do. Let me do this here. Let's troubleshoot first, and then I'll spray a fresh panel, and I'll show it. And I can actually work on these other ones too. Okay, so what's been happening a little bit? This was sprayed about 4 o'clock today, so it's 7:30 now. So again, red primer, and then just straight up Dunkelgelb, RAL 7028, straight up out of the bottle. So I think my distance is right. You guys can, yeah, okay. I'm gonna show you too much. I'm gonna show you how you F this up. You guys have these problems. Way too much water, way too much water, way too much water. You're already in trouble, you're already screwed. So that's what happens when you go too much water. Usually, if you have these kind of problems, even if I unload this, this is why flat plate chipping is a little bit of a struggle, because there's nothing there. There's nothing really you're telling a story with. It's hard to get a feel for. And these are all massively strong chips and stuff like that. You know, where you see this blending of the colors and stuff like this. So what you're gonna wanna do, be careful, number one. Don't do what I just did. Let's try this off. And that's where a lot of you guys have problems, even when you use a little bit less water. Timothy, how are you? Not this, no, I'm not putting any poly in right now. You can. So poly is a strengthener. Poly will strengthen paint, the polyurethane additive, so it's kind of counterintuitive to the chipping process. Can you switch cam? Oh, my bad. Shit. Thank you, Conan. Fuck me, guy. I am not on my game tonight. I've been doing this for 2 days, so that's probably what half the problem is. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, guys. What else we got? Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I don't look up, so yeah, just keep asking. Okay. Okay. Almsville. Right. No, not using any poly right now. This is straight paint. Yeah. That's what it is, Pete. So Pete's saying to demonstrate. I'm trying to troubleshoot. Leo, I don't know if you're still around. Some of you guys around. You know, it's one of those things where I get a lot of emails with this. I've seen a lot of this over the years from other stuff. So eyeballs. So this is not, that's not good chipping. That's what you just don't do this. And this is what the problem is when you guys do flat plate test pieces. You give me this and you're like, hey, it's like a piece of mud and whatever. It's just, dude, you don't, watch when I'll show you when we get to chipping. Like, and you saw with the little dude here. I'm not doing anything like, really? Hey, come on, guys. Like, you back it off a little bit, realize what you're trying to do. And if you're gonna set up a test piece, try to set it up as close to what you're gonna be doing in terms of whatever the subject matter is, a train, a tank, whatever. You're gonna have a better time understanding how it's gonna work. When you're doing it this way with flat plates like this with the styrene, you can struggle with it just for the nature of, that's a flat piece of styrene, a primer coat, and a top coat. There's nothing to chip, you know, kind of a thing like, well, okay, you know, is it at the side of a wall? Like, what is this? So it's hard to kind of correlate it. And I don't recommend it, even though I know I have it in the books. I didn't think this was where the was all gonna go. So water on the brush, unload, 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 unload. So what you're gonna do is, particularly with mission models, but you're not seeing any, see how that's almost a dry brush? You see a little bit of discoloration in there? Controlled.
little bit better result now. And I'm not getting the bleeding. I'm kind of, and these older brushes like this a little bit too, they're nice. So see how you get it, if I push back, I'll push a little bit of the Dunkelgelb into the red. So you get kind of that bleeding look. All you do is come back over, go the other way a little bit. So when you have no texture, you have nothing underneath this, and you're trying to chip like a flat spot like that. I mean, obviously it's way too big, way too strong or whatever. I mean, I would never really do that because what I'm trying to do, let's put these up against each other. So this over here is a lot more usable for the end game. This over here is not too bad actually. That's not too bad. It's going to be way too large. Obviously this is a mess. You can't control this. You're out of control. And so like I talk about with a lot of the other techniques, it's you, the brush, and what's on the brush. Literally, that's 90% of everything we do. You, the brush, and what's on the brush. Oops. That's probably too wet. And with mission models in particular, because it's an organic compound, it's more reactive to water than other paints. I see some of this with live color a little bit, where you get kind of that which is actually quite usable. That actually, you know, you could really use that kind of slight discoloration. What I find if you want to cure that, if you don't like it, is just dust that over with raw thinner in your airbrush, and it'll reset that color for you. A little bit of a trick there. So this was done yesterday. You see how that's how, there you go. See how it's not running? I'm letting it sit. I'm not like smearing it all around. That's what you don't want to, because that's when you start having problems. So there, I've got a little bristle that, see, there you go, boom. I would stop now, move on, literally. Like that's beautiful. I mean, you don't want anything more than that, really, realistically speaking, for a military vehicle. And the problem is a lot of you guys want this, and that's not even that good. What you really want, truth be told, is that. That's what you're looking for. So I've got kind of an older brush which really works well for that purpose. And those are some of the basic things where, you know, let me just show you again with the water. It's just too much. You're already too much. I hope you guys can see that. It's too much. It's literally too much water. Every time I answer you guys in email or whatever about all this stuff, it's too much water. Almost always too much water. Unload that brush. And to me, it acts very similar, to be truthful. To me, it isn't all that much different. Okay, that's actually too dry. Just unload. You test it on your hand. See how you're just starting to see the water, a little bit of wet right there? That's because this is a little bit more of a delicate paint. You guys have to act more delicate. You can't treat each brand the same. And this is kind of one of the problems I'm having with all the arguing over this stuff, is that you're trying to treat this like some of the other brands, and every brand has their slightly different process with this. Vallejo chips differently. Tamiya chips differently. Ammo, AK, they chip differently. Life Color, Mission Models, same thing. They chip differently through the brands. But it's going to be you, the brush, and what's on that brush. Whether it's water, whether it's thinner, whatever it is. It's going to be the same process. Speaking of thinner, because I know, Mike, you asked. Let's see here. I have some Mission Models thinners here. Not to be sounding... I'm kind of the coach right now. I'm even yelling at my players. Okay, yeah, did you see that, Leo? Because in particular, I know you've had problems with that, where you have to back that water off. You guys are, even when you think it's not a lot of water, you saw that you just don't want to go more than that, especially with a test piece like that, where it's going to kind of throw your perspective off. So when you go to the real model, you know, it's just not going to be that way. Normally, I haven't really tried this with Mission Models too much. I've done it with, this is the Tamiya lacquer thinner stuff, but I don't have it in front of me. So let's see what happens. So this is a pre-painted layered model with Mission Models paint. So Mike in the chat asked about doing the removing with thinner method. So let's use this little lip of this rust area here. And this is 4 years old painted, so I don't know what kind of success we'll have. Probably not gonna work. This paint's probably cured for so long. There's also a matte coat on this too now. Let's see if we can cut through. There it goes. Okay. All right. When I talk about, when I say you can never have too small of a chip, this is what I'm talking about. That's beautiful right there. Move on. Stop chipping. Don't chip that spot again. See that? That's how you chip. You don't keep working that. When I say move on in the books, when guys see the advice, move along. This is what I'm talking about. You keep reworking these spots. You just, if you have any kind of issue at all, you'll immediately make it worse. And this is where chipping will really fight everybody. And I see it quite a bit. So, David from Seattle, welcome. How you guys doing up there? Yeah. Question, Mike says, does the stiffness of, yes. I tend to go, I don't know how to describe stiffness of a brush. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the barometer is. But that's also why these number 2s, like it's not super, I don't want it super soft, but I don't want it hyper stiff either. Like, cause you could use here, you know, let's get a little, like a piece of wood. You can. It gives you a little bit of a sharper. I was on this side, here we go. Yeah. See, those are actually probably even almost too big. The train agrees with me. So I'm using a little thinner with the wood toothpick. See if we can cut through that paint a little bit. And be smart where your chips go. I mean, references, of course. Like, I'm not going to go crazy in this area because this is a combat tank. So there's going to be some marks, but this little raised lip, you know, their boots and stuff are going to catch that. So because this is a little bit more precise, I'm rolling up over the edge. I'm actually not over those red. I'm on the spot up here. A little bit of thinner and just rubbing through that. And again, this is 4-year-old paint, so if this was a fresh spray, but you can see you can do it. You know, I mean, you can do this stuff. Doesn't matter the brand, just pick their thinner and go. Lacquer thinner will cut through a lot of stuff. So if you do it with a lacquer thinner, which I show in the books, understand that when you do that, you have to, again, unload the brush, unload the brush, unload the brush. It has to be dry, almost like 98 to 99% dry. That's really where the key, where that heart of that thinner of rubbing this stuff. You can see I never ever got that surface like wet with thinner. You almost don't see those chips, and it's hard for me to see them. That's when they're gold. You know, that's what I'm talking about. That's when that starts to really come alive. So as you pull back, and when I talk about with storytelling and stuff, with chipping in particular, is I like to see it from a distance, like you can kind of maybe see that there's chips going on, and then as you walk it in, as you get closer to the table or whatever it is, then it starts to really come alive with the layers as you get really close to the model. You don't want to see those layers from 2 or 3 feet away. You just kind of don't. Maybe an implication of it. And if you do that, you're almost too strong. So that's what I'm saying with the chips of in scale, working in the scale. Like as I pull back, let's see here, if I can get this, you know, that's from the camera. That's a good foot from the camera. You're just starting to see them now on that edge, right in here. And that's what you want. You want to have that distance view, and that's how you can kind of gauge your chips in the scale that you're working in. Like, let's go back to this guy. All right, yeah, it's good I did this actually. I mean, you see right here, you're starting to kind of see him a little bit. Obviously, disease-ridden thing, don't touch that. Yeah, so that's kind of how you gauge that. And even on this guy, where this, you know, it's obviously early days, but you almost don't see those. But if I zoom in with the eyeballs and get up close, you kind of start to see them. So you don't want to always have your chips like overpowering everything. Let's see. Sylvain asked, maybe in the Q&A when I was doing chipping, my paint was just fading away, not really chipping. And that's okay, because that's kind of what I just said is you want some of those really hyper subtle layers, Sylvain. You don't want everything to be like just beating you up in the face. And there's got to be the definition between time of the first chip to the last chip. And a lot of you guys chip your whole stuff the same to where it looks like it chipped in one day. And that's where what I'm trying to get across to you is get kind of a life.
Like these are some of these are older, and all that kind of conversation going. So let's put my money where my mouth is, right? So let's spray. So what I did, put the wood away for now. I don't know if it can pick up, it's having trouble zooming on the white. So there's glue stippling there. Yeah, see, there you go. It's a little bit of cast texture in there. I put some bolts over here, scribed a line. I put some rivet with the little Jimmy tool thing. I don't know what it's called. The punch. This guy here. Yeah, it's got the little tip there, and you put some circle rivets. So I got a few different types in there. Get this stuff out of the way. Let's see. How do you handle larger strategically placed scratches? Well, let's see here. See if I can pull that off for you. A couple ways. If you're following along with, you want something right there. I'll do a scratch for you in a minute. But basically, what you're going to do is you're going to take a scratching tool. I wouldn't use a brush, and you're gonna one-shot it. And if you're nervous with that kind of stuff, again, I'm unprepared, my friends. Use a bridge. A bridge is like something to rest the tool on, and then run it along the top edge against the surface of the model. Gonna give you a nice clean one and done. Don't go back and forth and go crazy. Just go boom, one and done where you want it. So you're gonna have to place that part where you want it, and then get like a bridge in there, and then rest it. Well, it's not the best resting. And you'll get you a decent straight line. Another way to do that I showed in an earlier stream is to kind of almost tap your line if you're not doing it with hairspray. It's just kind of dot it out, and then kind of come back and build that line up over. It's sometimes easier to draw a line that way than it is to do that. And again, practice too. It's just, getting used to that motion a little bit. Yeah, use less water, Pete. You guys have to back off. And some of you guys are tough, big guys. Like, I get that. You big gorilla dudes that can, throw people around. You have to be delicate with this stuff. You have to learn to pull back, let the weight of your hand just kind of do the work, or the brush. Don't put if you're scrubbing hard, like if you're in here scrubbing your hairspray, you've done it wrong. You've not put enough. We're gonna do all that right now. Let's get to work. Okay, I gotta paint. Switch to the primer brush. There's a lot to talk about. I was a little bit nervous with this stream in terms of going through and maybe splitting up the types of chipping. We're not doing all right. It's 7:43. We've been doing an hour and 20. Give 20 minutes to start. Do you handle larger? Yeah, does that help, Dan? I take it the scratching tool needs to be a bit. No, doesn't. Because what happens is, and I'm guessing you're relatively fresh to a lot of this, Dan. What'll happen is, say you're doing all this, and you've got a little bit of where you're working the surface. You can come in. So I did this piece yesterday. And you can kind of see how I started to put that down in there? Come on, focus. There you go. See how it cut across all those? Now you can start working that a little bit. You can come in with a little bit of water and start opening it up a little bit. You can kind of very gently play with that. And I'll show you, again, how to do that. But you want to do one and done, and don't mess with it. Don't be playing with it a lot. You didn't miss anything, Justin, other than sponge chipping. We're getting into hairspray now with doing it. I've talked about kind of troubleshooting some of the worst parts of it, but we'll get into doing it right now. So you're right on time, bud. You're good. Yeah, no, Kona, I mean, it's very true. I'm not saying this to be an a-hole or anything like that. It's just understand that you're dealing with really small, delicate scale models. And sometimes, and I know how it goes, where you're big, strong dudes, where it's, if you're coming from the gym and you're trying to do this at night, you're still pumped. It's tough to pack off because it doesn't go well, and you just, oof. Usually when hairspray chipping goes wrong, stop. Just stop. Literally stop, and then totally, yeah, Justin, you can see that in the stream. Yeah, Jack, give him a quick rundown. Here, Justin, real quick, buddy. Just, so you use a sponge, so a piece of sponge. You have some paint, it doesn't matter, whatever your chip color is. Do this, get the sponge in the paint, dab it out on the paper towel. Hold on one second here, zoom out. I'll just real quick, because the boy's rolling a little bit late. Dab it out, unload the thingy. So you've got, and then along the edge,
and you're just gonna put down, you're just gonna put the best, there you go, the best chips of the night. That's actually a really cool little shape. But you'll dab the sponge on the model where you want those chips, and that'll give you a base layer. And then what you do is you come in with the brush and you pick up like a dark steel color, and you kind of paint in the middle of them a little bit. And this is sponge chipping, that's all you do. Just use that as a little bit of a guide. The sponge lays the chips down for you, and that's a little bit of a layered chip effect right there, down to the steel a little bit. That's a quickie. Hopefully that helps explain. Okey-doke. Let's see here. Okay, the right piece I'm gonna do red, left piece I'll do red primer. Sorry guys, I know you guys want to see this fun stuff, right? So there's 3, 4 primer drops. Already making a mess. I did this really nicely today. It should go well. So let's put in 1, 2. This is just Mission Models red primer. It's a catalyzed 2-part system. You know, all this kind of fun stuff. And this is just covering the base model, the plastic. I'm moving fast. Sorry, just getting this done. Okay, hair dryer. She's your friend. No point in waiting for this. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff you can use. Toothpicks, to me, a stir stick, anything kind of small and kind of. I don't recommend too sharp. In fact, the reason is, if you guys are unfamiliar, these to me as stir sticks have 2 ends, but they're chrome plated metal. So it's sharp without being knife sharp. And you've got this end too. And I don't use this end too much. That's a little bit too sharp. That pointy end's a little bit too much. But that kind of chrome spoon end, it gives you, there's a little bit of a ridge, a little bit of a ledge right there, and you can just kiss that and it'll cut right through without too much damage. Sometimes toothpicks and wood will tear the paint, and that kind of isn't what I'm after sometimes, so I tend to default to that. But I have other stuff too. Yeah, hold on, we'll get to the whole conversation here. Hold on, you guys are asking more questions I can keep up with. I gotta get this done, so hold on 1 second, I promise. It's a second layer of red primer. Okay, well that's going here. Water bottle, spray bottle. Yelled at for that, I think I cut that up last week. I'm just doing a quick color change, so I'm flushing this out. I usually take a little bit more time than that. We'll let this red kind of dry for a second. So what I do is I put the water in the cup, and then I've got a catch basin over here I toss it into. And a little bit of Mission Models thinner to clean this out a little bit. Red's the worst. Red's the worst color to play with. You have to get it all out of your airbrush, because you just have tons and tons of cleanup to do. Because red will tint everything. It's kind of a thing. Out. Try to do all this on camera. Get over here. Yeah, just getting red out of an airbrush. I should have done the gray first, but that's okay. Nothing's going right for me tonight, so might as well F that up too, right? Actually, the chipping's going okay. Just that first one is kind of a little bit bad. But yeah, you want to really get. To Sylvain in your comment earlier and stuff like that, it's okay to have the finer ones. If it's not getting the power that you want, then just keep building up. And you saw me, that's exactly what I did on this guy. I built that up. It was almost invisible, and then I just built that up really gently, and a few of them a little bit stronger. Build up that, you'll get a much more believable, realistic final result.
Yeah, red primer airbrushing, dude. It's the one thing when you're doing like a full model red primer. Red's probably my least favorite color to airbrush. It's just a massive pain to get out of the airbrush. So I'm taking a little bit extra time. Gray primer. Pull this guy back over here. So unfortunately with live streaming, you have to go through the steps. You know, it's one thing to do an edited video like this, but I'm going through the struggles here a little bit with trying to hustle with airbrushing so you guys can see it from raw plastic all the way through. Put 6 drops in there. This is just the Mission Models gray primer. 2. Let's turn this real good. Yeah, there's still a hint of red in there. Turn my gray slightly, it's okay. It's not gonna matter. So I debated prepping a lot of paint colors, but I know you guys need to see the spraying part. Like, it's important to get through a lot of this stuff. So I apologize for the lack of exciting, sexy content while I do this. Yeah, I want to make sure we get, yeah, okay. Did I miss anything? How did you do that trick with the airbrush? I always try to figure out that. Never succeed in making it. Oh, just cover the nozzle, buddy. Yeah, just in here. Just. Oh wait, there's primer in there. Well, yeah. Do you hear that? You just block the tip, and then it'll backflow into that. I do that in cleaning to flush it back the other way, and then you flush it back out the real way. Oh, myself a milk frother from IKEA. Yeah, you're welcome. You are welcome. Okay. So gray primer on the other strip here. I am hustling. Put a thin coat down. Let me just kick this off. Actually, I should have dusted it off. It's a little dirty. Actually, hold on. It's a little thin. What do I do with the primer? Gray primer. Where'd you go? Why do I keep losing stuff tonight, guys? What is going on over here? I'm literally an old man losing shit right in front of me. Seriously, where'd the gray primer bottle go? What the hell? I give up, I surrender. It's white. Where the hell did it go? Oh, here it is. Good Lord, man. I apologize profusely. Put that with the other bottle there. I'm about to give up. Seriously. Like, that's not even the same mixing brush. I must have cleaned it so well. It's right there. Okay. It was a little on the thin side. There it goes. Yeah. I just put one more drop of primer in that. Okay. Yeah, it's not bad. Other than my technical difficulties, the spraying's going a little bit of a cloud mess there. So it dries to a nice matte. The red's a little shinier. Gray's a little bit on the more matte side. That's okay. Now here's the problem. I'm pushing this a little bit on time. So let me hair dry these pretty good. Hola, Carlos. Great vibe, Roger. It's a fucking mess, dude. This is a disaster for me. I've got stuff all over the place. It's good that you guys are here because I can't go nuts. Yeah. It is very simple, Jess. A lot of this is actually really, really simple. Some of you guys probably overthink a lot of this stuff. Okay, so I've hair dried this. This is the primer layer. This will be the base chipping color for some of the stuff we're gonna do. One thing I like to do for these quick things in quick mass, if you guys aren't familiar, Post-it notes. So So prep a couple of these post-it notes here. I'm trying to let the primer kick off. It does have a little bit of a timing window. Because what happens if I do this wrong? The primer's not going to be cured. Yeah, it feels dry. I'm using kind of the back of my hand to just test feel. If it's sticky, it feels completely dry. This is why the hairdryer is crucial, because you just wait for this stuff. And you don't want to be doing that. Okay, let's try this one more time. Okay, the hairspray. Let me switch screens. Okay. Get myself on camera. Okay, so when I say arm's length, I'm not like this, you know, but I'm kind of like this. Okay, you guys see that? So that distance, whatever that is, that's almost 2 feet, a little over half a meter, somewhere around there. That's one coat. Dry it. You sure what that looks like? Hold on here. I'll remember the stuff. Okay. See how that was matte before? See that right there? That's what the first layer of hairspray kind of looks like. Now you could do, we're not going for crazy effects here. We're just doing straight hairspray, straight chipping. I know guys like to speckle this stuff and do other stuff. Just bench that for now. Just, this is straight hairspray 101. See how that looks? Smooth, dry. It's dry to the touch. Second layer. Same dealio. All right. Yeah, you all good? A little bit easier to go vertical. When you pull it in like this, yeah, let's see. That's a no-no. That's when you have problems. This is a huge problem. You see how even that is? See how nice that looks? Yeah. Hopefully you guys can see. This is what I know some of you do. You're getting way too close. Most of you are getting way too close. When I do this on the seminars and all this stuff, arms distance, this is what I'm talking about. So kind of, I don't know, I'm about 6 foot or so. So that's probably, you know, and I'm pulling back, and then I'm kind of get to that comfy, see that's kind of that comfort distance. And I'm just, that's what I'm talking about with the aerosol, that's a set pressure. So you just, that's it. Once you get that, this is your general hairspraying for tanks, planes, all the kind of like scale model stuff, you know, this size, you know. Nice even coat. Do one more, repeat. Twice, dry them, and you're done. Put the thing away. Your hairspray's done. This is why this can lasts like 10 years. That's can number 2, believe it or not. Okay, read through a pin wash and a filter, then set aside for 20. Yeah, no, I don't know, Dan. In the same way, brother. Just drives me insane. Yeah. It's an insider deal. Okay, so I gotta dry this. Let's see if we can dry that other spot. So hair dry, it's always hair dry, always hair dry, always hair dry. Just hair dry, always on low. Don't get a heat gun, any of those like car stuff. Just get a $10 hair dryer. It's a Conair 1875 from Target, Walmart, wherever. I'm sure there's European versions as well. And I got white because everything I do, I like to have the white table, the white hair. Just an idiot. So that's kind of, there's your hairspray. So you can see, problem. And I did that on purpose. So, but anyway. Oh, did I clean the primer? All right, hold on, I gotta clean. So let that set for a second. I gotta clean the primer out of this. I forgot. Because that primer will cure. That's the problem. Yeah, I don't, okay, Justin, so to be clear again, I don't use the ladies hairspray. Why? Because the mega holds, the 24-hour holds, the ultra hold, all too strong. You want to make sure, and don't argue this, don't try to like outthink me, just get the medium to low hold hairsprays. Don't get the spritzers, get the misters, the aerosols.
You can use the spritzers for effects, but it's not going to do what we're going to do in the same way. So just at least get an aerosol can. Yeah, get your, yeah. But the girl stuff, heavy perfumes, heavy chemicals, alcohols, lacquers in them to hold their hair stronger, it defeats the purpose. So don't just run out and get like a crazy mega hold, you know, whatever the brand is, Garnier or whatever they have. So yeah. Yeah, I used to have a blue one. I used to have a blue hair dryer. So that, yeah, all that stuff's critically important to just kind of getting this down and learning this kind of routine. I want to show you guys like going through the motion. So we're going to spend a little time painting. And this is exactly what I did with these guys. That's all I did was I put a primer down. That's exactly the same process. I just didn't want that primer sticking in that brush for long. Because it's a two-part, it'll catalyze in there. Okay, so I've got my paintbrush. I've switched to my Iwata. I mean, I'm sorry, my Tamiya. That was the. Actually, that was the MIG. This is a Sparmax. MIG production. It's an old Sparmax. Oh yeah, I broke the Iwata. Okay. No, you're fine, Justin. Don't worry about it, brother. Guys are arguing. Zach, what's up? How are you? Yeah, you're fine. We're just kind of getting going. Okay, you guys all good? All right, everybody good? Any questions right now before I switch into paint? So we've got the primer, we've got the hairspray down. We're gonna get going here in a sec. Okay, so what I talked about before is I want to break these off in colors a little bit. So just a quick mask, because we'll spray a few different shades. I'm actually gonna cover the whole thing over there. So this is where you're gonna see me do some quicker color changes tonight. Okay, so we've got a red primer. Let's put down the brighter Dunkel gum. This is the straight. This is this. We'll do this one over here. This was this little demo piece here. Same, that's to be this color scheme for that. For right there. Most of my paints are already kind of pre-shaken from today anyway, so I'm doing stuff too crazy. Mixing in the cup. 1, 2, 3. Kind of a big fatty in there. So it's about a 20 to 30% thin ratio, no big deal. I'm not being super hyper precise, I'm just laying some color. It's no big deal. Good color. Let me dry this real quick. I'm drying this to hustle. It's kind of one good layer, and you can kind of see as that dries. It does dry dead. Almost there it goes. You kind of still kind of drying a little bit. It's kind of messy, a little bit dusty, and then we'll clean that pretty good. But that's okay. We can use those dust particles to help us chip. So I'm at about 12 psi, 20 to 30% spinning rate, thinning ratio. Okay, there's a nice. That's a nice opaque top coat. Could be any color combination. I'm just showing you red primer, Dunkel Gelb. We'll do other colors in a sec. Hold on. It dries so dead matte, which is great. That's what I want. Focusing at all. I'm not getting a little focus thing up in here. Sometimes this camera gets a little warm. Oh, there we go. I was on the zoomed out button. I am a hot mess tonight, my friends. Yeah, those all little chunks and stuff. So that's from the, you can see some dust and some crap and But I put some cast texture with the glue on that. Here you can see how matte that is. There you go. Yeah. So anyway, so that piece is ready. So let's switch colors. Put the other color down. You know, I'm gonna leave this in here. It's almost empty. Yeah, wait. Let's do red. What'll look over? Came out a little thick. Yeah, so there's the guys with it. A little bit thicker. This light neutral tan is a little bit thicker. That's okay. It's not a big deal at all. So this system, if you guys are new, is a little bit more precise. It's not a 50-50 thinning ratio paint, so just don't barrel in with 50-50 like a lot of other paints can do. You can, but you have to be a little bit more experienced because it is a bit thin. You have to adjust your airbrush ratios and stuff, but we'll do airbrushing later or another airbrush stream. So I'm just mixing this good. Yeah, there you go. Mix and paint, guys. Good times. So this is a lighter tan shade, just to give it some variety on this piece. You can see I spray pretty fast. I don't usually spray continuously, and the reason is you get kind of hot spots. See if you do that. See how you get in kind of hot spots where there's like more opacity? So I tend to, smaller parts like this, or you know, panels and stuff, going down a little bit. See how it's kind of nice sheen? And I will use this process with any of the brand of paint. Live Color, to me, it's the same basic setup. I'm not doing anything mission model specific other than the thinning ratio. That's it. Oops, that's so hot. See how that dries? It's actually a nice little coat of paint. Okay, yeah, it's gonna finish off drying. Okay, we can swap colors. So these are the two colors. There you go. All right, everybody good? AutoZone, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm in the zone. Yeah, sorry guys. Oh shit, god damn it. Just not good. It's okay, I'm just airbrushing. It's fine. I'm gonna have a bad stream, guys. Here we go. Let's get out of my system in terms of technical difficulty. But anyway, sorry about that. Anyway, I'm just spraying paint. So here we go. Just having a good time airbrushing, messing up the stream. It's because Chris Paps came around. I don't know where you are, Paps. You're bad luck, dude. Okay. So those are ready to chip. Take this guy off. Rotate the protector here. Just trying to protect for some overspray, just keeping a little bit neat and tidy. Okay. Yellow zinc chromate. So the gray primer, pretend it's aluminum or metal or light color, or like a whatever kind of lighter chip color you want underneath. This is your, I think your US Navy military yellow zinc chromate. It's a nice color. They make a lot of nice yellows. I will say, Mission Model has a lot of nice yellows. Yeah, Robert, it's a little bit comical tonight. I will tell you, man, it's not. This isn't going to be the review tomorrow. When I go back through this, is going to be like, oh, dude, I'm going to be. Does it work on your large surfaces, Carlos? Are you asking the hairspray in general? How long after hairspray can you work? You're seeing this live, Carlos. This is basically the same. I know I'm missing some names in here. I see Cliff Herring, you're in here. Welcome. That's so badass. Gonna have to share this one with the fan. Yeah, it's yeah. Sorry guys, camera, Bobby, my problem bench cam. Yeah, sorry guys. I shouldn't switch it, but I wanted to show the hairspray distance thing. So at least we got the right stuff on camera. Airbrushing is no big deal. We're gonna do plenty of it. All good. Thanks guys. Yeah, you're good. Thank you, Christian. Yeah, I saw that.
Kodokai, what's up, Bri? How are you, man? Okay, yeah, you guys are all good. You guys are chill. I do appreciate the love. This isn't my smoothest in terms of flow, but the chipping's going well, which is important. Let's see, I need one more of these guys. So I'm just cutting up a post-it note real quick. Okay, right camera, the correct. So I described, as you can see here, what I'm doing here. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just taping off that scribe line. That's just so I can do more color variety. Can you see? Yeah, you see those little rivets? I got little rivets in there too. So this one over here has got some cast texture. The rest of these are all basically smooth, which is gonna fight you on the chipping, which is fine because we need to see this stuff. You guys need to see the hard stuff. And then we'll do, I'll paint some of this guy with some other color and stuff. We'll do some chipping on that. Let's see. Okay. So my airbrush still kind of a mess. Flush this real quick. There'll be no tight camo spraying tonight because I'm doing fast color changes and my airbrush already needs to be stripped down. But I will promise you guys airbrush streams where we'll do exciting tight camo painting. You know, freehand camo, fine line camo, all that stuff. We'll do that in a future stream. Tonight's just banging out the chipping, you know, just showing you the processes. And as we'll get back into the train stuff this weekend. We'll get back on the little robot this weekend. We'll keep pushing that that oil paint weathering, you know, working with the chips and incorporating stuff into this so that you see kind of the broader picture. Tonight was kind of just hitting brush painting, sponge chipping, brush painting the chips, sponge chipping, and then the hairspray, of course. And again, anything I do, you can use any brand of paint, literally. Only the enamels, like a Humbrol, will cure with the hairspray a lot faster. And if you're gonna use a lacquer thinner based paint, you have a shorter window of time because it's gonna cure on you. And what you're trying to do is get the water down into that top coat to dissolve the hairspray. That's how this works. And then it lifts off the top coat, which is how your chips happen. Most of you guys know this, but I know some of you are still pretty new. And painting really, really tiny amounts of paint is actually kind of hard. Just a little bit more on the precise side. Thank God I'm only painting a little bit of pieces tonight. Okay. This is yellow zinc chromate over like a gray or a metal color. I'm not trying to be, you know, accurate with metallics or anything. One of the things when I get to aircraft chipping, Navy chipping and stuff like that, US Navy, World War II, how I treat like exposed aluminum versus actually using aluminum paint or natural metal finishes. We'll get into all of that down the road. I tend to default towards a non-metallic, believe it or not. The main reason for that is because a lot of metallics paints have the flakes and they're a little bit strong for like an aircraft finish in terms of when you chip it, what do you see popping through? Also, metallics tend to dry smoother, almost to a gloss, and chips just skate off of a smooth finish a little bit too. So you have to do a little bit more prep work for natural metal stuff, but we won't do all too much with that conversation. We're just showing you some effects. Okay. Yeah, so you can see how that's dried. Just a nice yellow zinc chromate. Okay. Go the other way. And let's put down our rust. Just straight up old school standard rust. That's what we're doing. I'm actually just gonna pour that right in the yellow because the rust plays with the yellow and I'm not gonna sweat that cleaner. Okay. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate that little support there. Have to bug out, Mike? Oh, yeah, get your rest. Have a good day tomorrow. Be safe. Thank you for coming by. Obviously, we'll go for about, what are we, 8:15 now? Go about another half hour or so. Maybe push till 9.
Sometimes you just can't do all this stuff fast when you have this kind of a schedule for hitting all the stuff. I don't think I'll leave. Oh, maybe I'll try to get to the wood. Okay. Did I add thinner? Well, we're gonna find out. So what I do there, if I saw that. So when I stir in a cup, like on the fly, oops. Just can't win. Yeah, that's just so you guys can see how that runs off. That's about the consistency as it was running back down into the cup. If it's a little bit runnier than that, which is fine, you're gonna have to just be paying attention to it. Put my towel across my lap because I guarantee you, I'm about ready to get into a big car accident the way this is going tonight. Like, don't drive anywhere. Get the yellow out of there. That's a light wet coat, laying it down. There you go, that's what you're looking for, a nice first coat. If you wanted to put poly in that for strength, you can, especially the lower layers. It's your call. It's not a big deal. I'm just trying to show you the process versus getting into all that kind of stuff. This is just chipping, hairspray. There's your rust color base. I put gray then rust. What am I doing? All right, well, let's do a triple layer. All right. Because I already have hairspray down. So we'll do this one more time. So whoever wanted multi-layers flexing, we're gonna find out. Yeah, let's switch. We'll put, this is actually a really nice color. It's like a nice gray blue. It's this shade here. It's that one there. It's not bad. And I'll show you when you think you made a mistake and stuff, when I talk about, and I try to emphasize a little bit, you know, kind of being angry coach earlier, you know, Coach Belichick to you guys is again, it's you, the brush, and what's on that brush when it gets to all these kinds of things. And it's learning how to back stuff off when it goes wrong, because this stuff will go wrong fast, especially with, you know, some of the water-based products like this. If you're just not familiar, and honestly, if I'm you guys and you've never done this before, then don't do it on your next model. Just don't. Just cut up some stuff, practice, even if it's difficult like this. You know, get some scrap models, buy some cheap built models on eBay. I know there's still dudes selling $10 models on eBay. You know, just get them to play with. You know, or slap together a, you know, old Italeri kit, you know, from the 70s or something that just nobody cares about. Just, you need to have this stuff. And you can see too, I actually do, Carlos, just as he loves them, the paints, you know, it's actually going pretty well. I'm just bumping, I'm literally just have a super crowded bench and too many things in the agenda. And I thought it through in my head, I have it written down, but what happens is the divergent streams going, you know, I gotta go this way, I gotta go that way, and it's just, yeah, I made a mess of stuff in my head. Because I'm thinking 3 steps ahead right now. Okay, color change, there we go. Put the blue in. Oh wait, let me show you, this is a good recap. Switch screen and see if I can just, don't mess this up. Okay, hairspray. Grab my, oh, you know what? Let's do this, Sylvain, it's for you guys. Pretend this is, well, it is decanted hairspray, but also chipping fluid. Let's show you airbrushing stuff, chipping fluid, hairspray. That worked out well.
Got a little bit of love on that one. Okay, so let's just pour a little, just straight raw hairspray in a cup. Okay. Okay. I don't need that screen. Hold on here. Whoop. Whoop. Okay. So airbrushing on. Layer 1. Goes pretty quick, obviously. So spraying clears. A little bit tricky. You don't have to be as far away with it, because it just doesn't, the aerosol pumps out. I don't know what its PSI is, but it's nowhere near airbrush. Airbrush is like 8 to 10. That thing's like 50 to 60. I don't know what an aerosol PSI is, but it's way, way more. That's why the distance. So with an airbrush version of this, which is the chipping fluid, this is exactly how it works, whether it's a Vallejo chipping fluid or AK or ammo or whatever, same thing. So 1 coat, dry, coat 2. Sometimes you can go 3. I'm just using the light glare to make sure it's nice and even. Excuse me. Try that bad boy. And all jokes aside, this is fundamentally just kind of the process. Get your color down, get your hairspray in between, your chipping fluid, whatever you're doing, and then get your top coat. And if you don't know already, focus, quick release valve. All my airbrushes have them on the bottom. So swap. So I've got like a varnish. I've got an airbrush for all the primers, varnishes, the hairspray, all that goes through that. And then I've got my paint airbrush for now. So I just have 2. I'm down a brush because I broke one, boys. I broke my eye water. So here, that's 3. Here we go. So just put some blue in. Are we on camera? Okay, good. Now I'm all nervous. Am I on camera, guys? 1, 2, yeah, there you go. So mix it real good. Get a little There you go. That's a little bit. See how that's a little bit runnier? So that's a little bit. So I got to make sure I know that I noted that in my head already. So this is a little bit thinner. So that means I can actually do once to the MAC valve. So I'm coming in at about 12 psi. If I close this up a little bit, do you hear that? Let me open it back up. So that's probably full 12. Close it up about, what was that, a half turn? There you go. I'm probably around 9 or 10 psi because I'm a little bit thinner. I a little bit overdid it, so I'm compensating with my air pressure a little bit. So this is good to see because this is Airbrush 101 on the fly, working hard. You know, if you're pushing a project, whatever, this is exactly how it goes. Literally, other than the mess stuff, it'll be a little bit cleaner, but anyway. Okay. Slow down for you guys a little bit. See how I build up that color nice and slow, nice and even. See how that goes down nice and even? And I'm not doing anything special. I'm not doing any freaky stuff back here. I mean, I'd like to, but I'm not. No winged wing. Ooh, what are you guys talking about? Yeah, no winged wings tonight. Yeah, we're not doing anything. So that's like layer 1. And you can see, to the colored primer conversation, you can see how that rust color under that blue, see how it's got that warm, almost purple on screen? It's like a purple, blue, gray. So that's first coat. That's what color primers will do. Same idea. So we'll get to the chipping in a sec, I promise. Kind of probably bit off more than I could chew. I should have done like a hairspray show. And we can always redo more stream. This is not the last of this, trust me, guys. No big deal. Okay. See how that blue starts to come up the opacity level? There you go. There's a nice top coat. Okay. And I am trying to show you guys more opaque versions. What I can do is we'll come back with a whitewash on top of this. So I'm showing you opaque civilian military factory paint jobs that are chipped. Like I'm not, you notice, I'm not trying not to leave the edges feathered. I'm not getting into that. I don't need to. That's what I learned is you kind of don't need to do that for in-service vehicles. When you do a distemper coat, like a whitewash, it's a different conversation because that's a heavily worn top coat that's designed to be worn away normally. So these factory paint jobs, whether civilian or military, you're kind of keeping it all, you know, the whole thing. So that's, you're seeing me do this how I like to do my chipping now. I don't really like leave a faded edge so that I can chip too much. Because what happens is you over chip. It's so easy to chip, you overdo it. Okay, so let's take all these off. So here's our, I won't do much more than this because we gotta keep moving here. I'd like to do another color, but I was gonna do a navy blue on top. This is good enough to government work, as they say, right? Okay. All right, so let me put my hairspray stuff away. Let me clean my airbrush real quick. Live demos, gotta clean. Switching the guns. That's why I say everything in twos. I grew up with Top Gun in the drive-in in 1986 or 7, whatever that was. Yeah, switching the guns. I always say everything twice in that movie. It's the best. How you guys doing? Yeah, actually the airbrush is actually going fine. The airbrush is working good. Everything in that world, outside of my camera issues. Yeah. So here, get some of this out of the way. Get that out of the way. Put the cap back on that guy. Okay, so that's the thinner I spilled earlier. Chipping brush here. Let me get some fresh paper towel out. Let's clean this up a little bit. Let me just tidy this up. Hold on one second here. It's kind of a mess. Okay, everybody good though? Could you explain why you do 2 coats of hairspray? So what happens, sweaty balls? One's not enough. It tends to the chipping. Now, experienced hairspray guys, you can use 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layers for certain effects. The less hairspray you have, the less dissolving action that happens under the paint, so you're gonna get less chipping. So I've just through trial and error over the years, like in 2007, 2008, a lot of the guys that were into this, we spent a lot of time on the internet, on the web forums and stuff going through this, where we learned that 2 nice, and this is from Phil's original teachings. He taught it this way, and it's consistent, it works, it's repeatable. And that's the main thing, especially as someone like me in my position where I'm a publisher, I'm sharing this stuff with you guys. It's important that you can do this. Like what you see me do is repeatable, and that's an important element to this. So the 2, what you saw, sweaty balls, was that, and when you go back and watch that, you see that one first dust coat that goes on a little bit wetter, then I dry it nice and even. Do 1 more. That's the proper amount of hairspray. It's a predetermined level. It'll really work well for you. Oh, good question. Yeah, hey. Incognito. I'm not sure. Is it supposed to be incognito? Anyway, welcome. Crushing it. Thank you guys. Chilling. All right, Roger. I'm glad you're here, man. Man, it's been a long time, right? We've been around the web forum block a while. Probably, almost 2004-ish, 2005. Going back a ways. My water at? Okay. Water's kind of yucky, but it'll do the job. It'll do the job. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna show basic scratches, chips, whatever on these guys here. Okay, so what I'd like to do is so you can see all this a little bit. So wet the brush, unload. Okay. It's probably still too. It's kind of, and then just to. So I always use the finger trick. You don't want to see at first, because your first lay down in here where you start putting this down on the. I know this is a really dry brush, so I'm experienced enough to know that I'm not going to get any mad crazy stuff right away. You see where it's already starting right up in there? So I'm using, like just to show that, let me see if I can show the angle here a little bit. It's kind of like slow motion version. It's kind of the, like, I'm not doing this. If you watch the motions, and I'll try to keep going a little bit slow, and you can see why less water, less is more. Everybody hates that philosophy. So what I'm doing here, let me. That's why the paper towels are so crucial. Again, just to show you what I'm talking about. Now I do this intuitively because I know where it's at. See, it's almost nothing. I can feel the brush is wet, but there's no water transfer almost. And on here, what happens is, see that little bit of discoloration right there? That's the water activating it. There we go, we're getting a little bit of. So this is why flat plate chipping is really, really difficult, because there's not a lot to work with per se. So I'm kind of pushing out towards the edge. See, I'm getting a little bit of that discoloration right there. And all those little red spots are the high spots of the texture that's on that. This is how, hi, it's like a kiss, like a little tickle. Like imagine you tickling your wife or your girlfriend or whatever. Like you just wanna, it's just a tickle. I'm not getting in this. And if it's not working, that means you've got too much top coat of paint. If it's fighting you to where you're not seeing any chips at all, you've got too thick of a top layer of paint. And you saw how go back and watch those again, how I airbrushed down those light thin coats, built up the opacity, dried it in between, and then I kept going. I didn't just don't hunker down on my airbrush either. And just try to get some other directions here. So we've got a lot of little peaks and you see how that's probably as wet as you're ever gonna wanna be. But see how I'm not forcing anything? Like even when I see that, if you fought that through, here, this is gonna, watch when this kicks off. It's just gonna go. So there it's already starting. If you can back off now, you can save that. If you go any more than that, you're gonna fight that, even though that's actually not half bad. I could work with that. Even though for military, that's probably too much. So I'm trying to just work with the water that was on there and see what kind of comes up. Because that's a pretty, like I said, factory paint job. Understand that what that means is that that's a pretty nice, even factory applied paint. You're not going to get crazy chips all over the place. So you can see the water going down. See how wet that is? So watch. See that? You got to be careful now. So back it off. If you see that going on, go over here, dry this up. Because that is gonna fight you. And I'm doing this on purpose. I'm trying to show you guys, I know you guys, especially with the Mission Model chipping, it's a little bit easier with the Tamiya paints, the results, but I will mention though, dudes, plural, what I see here, as I zoom in, like even that little, come on, focus, there it goes. You see, like in person it's even better. This is a zoomed in iPhone. You see how that transparency effect right in here, you have the opacity of the main coat. Just trying to show you guys. That effect's actually really, really nice. That's hard to get with a lot of the other paints. To be truthful, when you're trying to do this Vallejo or Life Color, you're not gonna get quite that sanded off look with the chip. You can do the Windex method with Tamiya. That's an entirely different conversation. We're not talking about that tonight, but you're getting kind of, with this chipping here, kind of those, see I'm just letting that wet spot go. Let me show you what happens if you don't. Let me just show you. Watch, it works great. But this is working pretty, there it goes. See, there you go. See, now you're effed because what do you do with this? This is way too much chipping. You're out of control now. And this is where you can see how a little bit of water can go a long way. So let's clean the brush off because the paint will get built up on the brush. So you clean it back off. Back this off. If it was me and that happened, and this was a real project, I'd probably just dust a layer of Dunkel Gel right back over that and not worry about it. That's how you fix that, honestly. Just respray real quick. So I'm just testing this out. So let me go over here and let me show you guys, okay. Let's do this again on this, come on, focus, here you go, okay.
See how there's almost no water there? You can just see a sheen on the corner. Just a hint. Just like sanding really gently. It's basically a sanding process of a form, in a way. There you go. See, that's what you want. So let's move along here. I'm just trying to show you how much goes down. I'm just real gentle with my brush. Because what I'm looking for is that first, whoops, my bad. Those first, see those first ones right there? See, because that water sat there for about 10, 15 seconds now. You're getting already that quick. And I'm pushing Mission Models. Mission Models has I talked about this in another stream. It has that water soluble erasability over the first curing moments. And we are hustling. I'm moving really quickly here to get this done, but you can use that if you know it's there, but it's delicate. This is super, super delicate. Like I'm barely holding that brush. Just coming in here. You guys have to be delicate, gentle, tickle. Tickle, tickle, tickle. That's all you're doing. See how that red's starting to pop right there in that corner? Now, I don't really want to chip the center of this. Like this is an edge of a hatch or a turret. That's why I'm doing it this way. If I try to sit here and chip the center patch of something, I mean, you're gonna have problems. Because it's really difficult, no matter the paint, if it's flat, smooth like that, you're gonna have a ton of problems with that. So you're better off actually adding a little bit of texture. I did that in Tank Art 3, AMX 30. I talk about that. That Meng plastic was so smooth on the turret, I actually threw down a surfacer texture so I can chip on the center areas. When you're doing it like this for testing, you're gonna fight this like over here. Even though that's not half bad. But you can see how the texture helped though. So this is my earlier mess. But even this isn't, I mean, if this was an abandoned vehicle or in Aberdeen Proving Grounds after the war, I did something similar. That's actually not that, there's a lot of cool things going on there. But let me show you a scratch. I forgot about the scratch. Okay, let's do the scratch. Sounds like a two-cylinder rolling by. Okay. Yeah, sweaty balls. I haven't done any of this. You know what? I'm not big enough yet. I haven't hit the monetization levels for YouTube yet. That's why, sweaty balls, I can't do the super chat. Just realized how delicate you have to be. Yes, Dan. This is why live streams so. I couldn't do this on edited video. I don't think. I mean, I could. But you know what I'm saying. But you guys seeing this one-to-one, even if I'm effing up, it's so important that you guys can learn this way. I'm actually willing to absorb the embarrassment of me being a pro and then kind of fumbling around a little bit to show you guys that I realize, you know, where the problems lie, and then trying to help you guys, especially you guys that have fought this particular relationship with Mission Models, because I know it's out there, because you guys tell me. Okay, so let's get kind of a. That's not too bad. I'm just getting a little bit. I'm gonna do a scratch for you, so I'm just getting a little bit of wet there for. So Dan in particular. So set this down. I'm gonna try to freehand this one. So it's this guy, to me a turf stick, the round edge, down, and just one and done. Okay, there it is. You see that? You kind of don't see it this way. Let's try this a little bit of heavy water on this. And again, I should preface this too. If I'm doing this for real, I'm probably letting this go an hour or two to kind of cure a little bit before I really get into chipping. You can push this fast like I'm doing. You definitely can do this. Obviously, I'm doing it. Yeah, I agree, Andrew. Seeing the kind of the raw live is it's Emerald cooking without all the prep. You know, it's the BAM without all the prep work in between. You know, Martha Stewart show without the crew in the back. See that scratch? Money. I'm done. I'm out. That is a beautiful scratch. See how you just see it when you rotate, but you kind of don't see it that way? There you go. So now what I would do is I would probably leave that, but what you can do, if you really want to, okay, so let's, working with the scratch, got a little bit of brush. Let's see what, be kind of really careful with this. See how that's the water. That's how little water's down. See how it's already drying a little bit? Just trying to open some of that scratch up a little bit. I don't want to get crazy. Like I actually want to see how you know, just got like a hair more out. Honestly, you try to fight, you try to be cool with that and try to be like Mr. Joe, I'm gonna make that scratch. Trust me, you can do so much in the weathering with the oils. I can do what I showed you on this guy. That same process with the oils, and that scratch is already down. That roadmap, what I talk about, this is one of the key elements to hairspray chipping in particular, regardless of how heavy-handed you get or how light you go. This has created the parameters of this panel. If this was a side a turret skirt on a Panzer IV, I've got all my edge chipping up there. I've got a really nice simple scratch. I'd probably have, you know, a number or something on this. That amount of weathering right there in terms of paint wear and tear is probably good enough for a combat vehicle, truth be told. And you can do so much more with the weathering part of it to impart the discoloration, which I show you in a lot. You know, what you do is you add this to it now. Does that make sense? I hope that kind of clicks now. Look at last episode stream of the dust weathering, all this stuff with the oils. You do that right on top of this. And then all these little marks and the bolts and this little, I don't know what this was, I must have old styrene, but all these marks on the surface guide you along. So now I don't even have to think. I could actually drop this, come back a week, 2 weeks, whatever, and I could weather this because all these chips tell me what's going on already. And that's why I push that system a little bit of that conversation, because that's the heart of all of this right now. It's really the important part of how I develop out my models. Like when I weather stuff through, it's because of this puff right here. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. I love tracking. Okay, let's do a little bit of this other one and we'll switch to where we at. Whoops. Let's switch over here. Okay. Ooh. See, I'm way too wet, guys. Back it off. Use your paper towel. Hopefully this is starting to like connect the dots a little bit in terms of especially with the chipping, especially with Mission Models chipping, blah, 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 blah. How would you lead the weathering later? Well, okay, so Justin, that's where all the crew is interacting with that. So what I'm gonna do is with that chip, that's where the darker paint happens because that's where the crew touches it. That's where the rust is gonna come off of those chips. So that's where your rust streaks are gonna go. So you don't have to like, where's my rust streaks go? You use that to tell you where they go. And it's like, if you track back, which was what he's talking about in the tracking with the slider and the thing. If you go back to this moment earlier in the stream, when I laid down, oops, come on, work with me phone, there we go. So I speckled those little spots where I flicked paint down on the surface and speckled that. That's where all the rust chips are. It's the same process with this. And then then to repeat, then I just weathered that out. I work with them. You work with them and don't, in other words, that calms your mental capacity to understand where the weathering goes. Because you're gonna add some like dust. And if you go back and watch the other streams, Justin, it does kind of start to, if you're fresh to weathering, it starts to build up the information levels so that you can then try this yourself. But my point is when you chip this stuff, like this right here, that means now my rust streaks are gonna come off of those chips. In other words, if I'm gonna have any kind of damage that bleeds off and all this other stuff, that's where it happens now, is on this, because it's already been done. It's already done for you. You've already done the work, but it's done for you. That makes sense. Yeah. Hopefully that kind of clicks. It makes sense when you do it. Yeah, okay, cool. Way too wet. That's what she said. Yeah, sorry. I know, there's too many boys in this chat. Do we have any girls in the chat? Probably not. You just said what we're all thinking sweaty. Yeah, I'm sorry. Way too wet. Is that possible? No, okay, we gotta be good. There are youngins around. And I know some of you dudes have kids that have been watching this with us too, so I'm trying to keep my cursing down. My mom yelled at me, you all know that story. Okay, so let's see here. I know some of you East Coast guys probably almost quarter to midnight. Okay, see how I start on a spot I can control. So I'm just rotating there you go. See the sheen there? And that's light gray underneath. So this is gonna look really subtle, almost tone on tone. But you can see how delicate that is? See how lightly I'm using that brush? And actually that's beautiful.
And a lot of times with low contour chipping like this, where say that's like a metal, like an aluminum or something underneath the zinc chromate, like that right there, like you almost don't see it. Trust me, every mofo coming by the contest table is gonna be like hovering over your model going, dude, how did you do that? You just saw it on camera live. So I think that's kind of, I'm not doing anything else. In fact, that little water there, I want to save that. Just back off, dry it. Now, a lot of you guys, what are you varnishing all this stuff? Yeah, don't worry about that. You guys overthink so much stuff. Dudes, men. Yeah. So if you don't chip that spot again, if you don't, come on camera. If you do not touch this area again, it's gonna stay, it's paint. There's nothing's gonna happen to that. Even if I put like a thinner on that later, in less than about 24 hours or so, this paint's gonna kick off and cure fully. So you don't really have to protect that too much if you're not gonna do anything else to it. Now, when we get into decals and some other stuff in moving forward, it's gonna be, yeah. Okay, well, thank you, Arthur. Welcome, by the way. Pleasure. Okay, so you're an hour. Where are you at? You Nova Scotia, North Canada, past East Coast? You're like one time zone more, maybe? Is that right? Yeah, okay. I'm learning my time zones. There's 24. Alexa told me there's 24 time zone planner. There's 11 time zones in Russia, by the way, which was I learned today. Brazil, okay, yeah, South America. That's right. You are further down. I'm trying to think. Yeah, you're shifting. Okay, gotcha. I hope everybody's doing well with COVID and all that stuff too. I know we're going through lockdown. I'd say by the way, guys, from what I'm hearing around the world, because I do talk to so many international people, just be prepared for what's coming. I don't think we're out of the woods yet. With a lot of countries don't have the vaccines and stuff, so just be prepared for dealing with what we're dealing with for probably another 6 months, through the Olympics and other stuff. So that's so beautiful. I don't too much more on that. Let's just go over here. So say there's like a framework under this where there's like ribs and stuff. So work with the direction. Let's play this up like where it's real specific directions. Let's see what we get. And what I will do, I promise you in future streams, when we start doing specific models, we haven't hit aircraft yet, but a lot of this stuff, you'll see this live on a real project using real references. And okay, what are you doing? How do you implement this for real all the way through? Those stream projects, which I debuted a couple weeks ago, as far as what we're going to use in terms of the Gundam, the tanks, stuff like that, we'll get into, and we'll eventually do aircraft. Aircraft probably like August. It's going to take. You can see I'm bumping in the camera. Imagine wings. It's a problem live streaming. So we'll see. We'll have to order up another new camera that I can pull back a little bit more with the better zoom. And you notice how I'm not forcing anything? I'm not trying to hustle. I'm just letting what I see happen. And sometimes it goes a little bit slower, and that's okay. There it goes. Because you can see how, let's see if we can get the sheen on that. Come on, camera. Let's see here. Trying to catch the light in the sheen. There you go. So you can kind of see how my brush strokes were. And that kind of glary sheen a little bit is just from the water, kind of polishing. And so what I've learned over the years too, with the sheen of the metal and the painted metal, the reason I start matte, one of the main reasons, if not the primary reason I do this, when I start with a matte coat, all that little subtleness there, so you don't see it, as you rotate around the model, that variations between burnishing the matte paint and what it creates, as soon as you varnish this, you lose it all. You reset the surface to zero. One of the things I try to avoid when we do this is that right there, is because at top level finishing on contest level modeling, when you start to see the variations in sheens, that's what elevates to the next level. And it's because you're thinking this all the way through. Because if this is a wing root, say that's a wing root of some form, whatever, and there's camo over that, whatever, that's going to be burnished by the boots, you know, they're sliding on and off that wing with their trousers, all that stuff, that polishes that paint, and then it remats out from the sun oxidation, and so you get this continual flow. And you'll see it on the jets too. You'll actually see it on the jets when you look up close. You'll see the sheens like around the cockpit, where there's that darker gray that's buff from the pilots and the maintenance guys. So this is a lot how this happens. It happens naturally. I actually try to keep this as much as I can. So that's why one of the main reasons I don't use varnishes when you guys ask me all the time. But I also know I'm not going to do anything more to that. Like when I look at that, yeah, it's not too bad. You just look at that. Those little money shots in there. Those are great. Maybe we save this and we put some navy blue over this. We spray some gloss navy blue later on. That's what I did over here. So what I did over here, a little bit different. I did the gray layer, the yellow. Wait, sorry, let me back up. Gray layer hairspray, and then yellow and blue on top as two separate paint layers with no hairspray in between. So you can see it did pull off a lot of the yellow, but there's still a residual yellow. You know, if that's a 32nd scale Corsair F4U4 wing root, you know, and there's a few of them. There's enough photos around, or Korea. There's plenty of photos around to see that kind of wear and tear can happen. I mean, it's super heavy-handed, but that's pretty nice in there. You know, that's probably a little much, but so I did a little Rosie the Riveter down there. So same thing with like the scratch. Like I've got rivets on here. So you work with the details on the surface for your chipping. That's why flat plate chipping's a little bit, you know, you can see you get the rivet heads here and stuff like that. Let's do this one over here. Oh yeah, the AAA. Yeah, we can do one more round and then we'll switch to oils. We'll save the wood for another show. We're running 3 hours almost, so we gotta. I don't want to keep you guys up too late now. So Raul, my boy, let's see here. This is the quarter, 1/4. I was corrected by the art store actually. On the, oops, well, get on camera, dude. I'm just a rookie tonight. You can just see the paint's worn up. It's a 1/4. That's actually a 1/4 inch rake. 1/8 is 1/8 of an inch. 1/2. 1/2 is a half. It actually is US sizes. So the 1 is a 1 inch wide. Actually is that. They used to call this in school 1/4. It's a 1/4 inch rake. Embarrassed. I'm just embarrassed by myself. Where you at? Zaldaf? Whatever you say that. I'm 9 p.m. right now, which is midnight East Coast. Let's see. Yeah, thank you, Roger. RSP After Dark. Oh, you guys crack me up. You guys are the best. I appreciate you hanging with me with his mother. Yeah, I'm always in trouble with my mom. Yeah, you're good, buddy. Yeah, well, that was you. She's smart enough to know you started that. That was your fault. I'm innocent. I'm out. I'm number one son, though, so I always leverage that. My brother's just a super instigator. Let it rip, Mike. Okay, cool. You guys are good. 10 p.m. You guys, everybody good? Okay, cool. Thank you, guys. I appreciate this. But yeah, you can see. So you got to see that process all the way through. Those little tiny little speckled chips right there. I mean, again, you're seeing kind of another layer of color on top. It's the same basic stuff. Some of these areas right in here, and again, this is just a test piece for me. This is not me. It's not even an actual kit where I can actually really do something with it. So that's exactly what you saw tonight was how I did those the other day. And it's exactly what I did there. So you've got the wood, a little bit of hairspray over the raw wood, sprayed some red, kind of rubbed it off a little bit, and then I masked off hairspray, sprayed some white, chipped it. You get in a real rhythm. It gets really fun. Yeah, 11. Oh, you're a Texas. All right. I never knew that about brush set. Yeah, neither did I. Empty sprue. Everybody, my teachers and everything in school. Yeah, it's a 1/8. It's a 1/4. Oh no, dude, it's a 1/4 inch, bro. Thank you. The guy totally corrected me too. It's like, what? No, dude, that's a 1/4. I'm like, oh, I felt really stupid too. Okay, so we have gray primer, hairspray, rust, hairspray, and then the blue. And then we've got really juicy hairspray over here. So let's just we're gonna have a little fun. Get the zoomy zoom going. Zoom zoom. I missed the Mazda commercial. Zoom zoom. Okay. I think that was an international commercial too. I think all you guys overseas know what zoom zoom means too. Okay,
So I'm laying down too much water intentionally a little bit, but even that's fairly controlled. Still in control. Oh, there you go, boom. So that's what happens when you got the triple layer hairspray when you're not careful. Too much water, kicks off right away. And see when you're fighting, whoops, sorry, you're fighting the, let me get in here. Yeah, there you go. Just came, it's like that's like a, oh, my boys in Vallejo, if they don't get mad at me. Vallejo does this a little bit. So it's too much water, too fast, too soon. At least the music's good tonight too. It's a little repetitive, but it's kind of chill. So I'm trying to just get the blue off of here. So what I would probably recommend, you're actually getting, I don't know if you can see that. You get a little bit of that rust color peeking through a little bit. You can probably deal with it. Oh, that's because I jammed that hairspray up. I'm like, why is this chipping so bad? I forgot. That is actually, you can see that demarcation line right there. This is where I juice that hairspray part up really close. South technical question. Whenever I use oils on a model, they initially look vibrant and rich. But when it dries, it looks so dull and did not pop at all. Any day, I guess. Well, okay, hold on. We're actually going to shift the oils in a sec, Sal. I'll talk about that in a sec. Yeah, no. Yeah, no mom jokes, please. I'm pretty defensive about that. My mom's a stellar woman. She is the rock of the family. She's done so much. My stepfather is, and a lot of us, I'm 50. My stepfather is pushing 70, dealing with the prostate issues and the cancers and all that stuff. And it's so common. You know, as a young, kind of a 30, 40-year-old, you know, not to sidebar it a little bit, but that woman, we've had two of her brothers, her father, uncles on my stepfather's side. Doctor goes to us the other day, and I've got my 42-year-old brother, I'm 50, my dad's 70, and he looks at us, he goes, every one of us are getting this. And you're just like, what the fuck? Come on, man. You're killing me, Smalls. So I'm learning all about this stuff. But he's doing okay. We've got, Oregon actually has fantastic cancer meds up here, and they do a really good job, so he'll be fine. You know, he's minus some parts, but he'll be all right. But she is just, man, that woman. Moms are tough. She was laughing. He was talking about hormone treatment. And I don't mean to be lighthearted, but you have to be. This is just life. This is what goes on, right? Cancer's just what happens. They were talking about hot flashes from the hormone therapy, and he's like, oh, you know, doctor's like, you know, man to man, it's gonna be kind of tough. My mom's like, really? Dude, I've been dealing with hot flashes like 40 years. She's like, what's wrong with you guys? So, anyway, yeah, she's a good one. Very supportive parents. I'm very, very lucky with that. They've been supportive of RSP and all that stuff too, so it's good. Lets me focus, you know. So let's swap corners here. So that's the shitty corner where I load. You can see how you fight that. So I've got the super juicy hairspray that I messed up on purpose. The rust, the hair, like you're not even getting the blue coming off of because the grip here is so low on the gray. All of it's coming off because that was the first layer. And then we have the rust and then another hairspray and then the blue. So let's try it over here and see if we have a little bit better success. What we should get is we should get something like that where it layers out. Yeah. Okay. Stop shaking. Yeah, we'll fix all the camera stuff over time. You know, there's budgets for the cameras and stuff. So let's see if we can get something going here. So I'm kind of pushing center out, just trying to get a little bit of the blue to come off the rust below. So it's still kind of doing the same. It's not really going how I hoped it would go. So on this piece here, let me put this up here so we can talk about this because this is kind of the difference between the two processes. So here on top, we have gray hairspray, then yellow and blue immediately, no hairspray in between. Here we have gray, hairspray, rust, hairspray, and the blue. So you can see comparatively, this is what I'm looking for. So what I probably would have done, smarter play, do the rust first, just ignore the gray primer, just paint the paint on the primer, just like go, and then add the hairspray, and then do the blue on top so that you get this look here. And then you can come back in and you can paint some of the lower level if you want to. You can, like when we did with the layered hand paint, I actually mix all these techniques together. So if I do a hairspray chipping like this, if I want to tint that color, and we'll do this here in a second, we'll switch. We'll use oils and we'll start doing some stuff and we'll start painting. And we'll answer your questions, Al. Don't worry, buddy. I got you. All that stuff. So let's get back. Let's do a little bit more. Let's just see if we can get a little. Just want to see if I can get some of that rust first. Kind of almost pre-wet scrubbing a little bit. This is probably the most pressure I've used all night. Just starting to. In fact, when I looked at this, you can see this. Let's see if we get that. This is actually, if you can keep this, do you guys see that a little bit? Where you're just getting a hint. It's just a hint. There, just a little bit. Like this stuff is so subtle. When I talk about like this, if I'm walking around the contest table and I'm seeing something like this is gonna make me stop and come back. I'm right up against the mics. You guys can hear all this, the scrubbing and scuffing. So I'm just really trying to sand that blue off the rust. And you're just getting a pop of that gray popping through. But see how you're getting a slight tint change? Because that blue's now kind of been sanded down with the water a little bit and kind of that reductive process. This is what I'm talking about with mission models and that subtlety. To me, it just didn't quite get this level of subtle kind of stuff. So that there, okay, let's stop for a second because this is it. Let's try this. Let's see what happens. This is damn near perfect for what I was hoping to show. It doesn't show up on the yellow as much, but this will give you kind of what I'm talking about. So you have to imagine for a second, say this is the side of like a generator, or the side of a farm tractor, the side of, so you see how the mat, here, let's see this. See how the mat's kind of a whitish blue here? And see how you rotate up? You see that right in there, guys? That's a burnished paint. And when you see how you rotate that through? Dude, like what? Like that's it. There you go. Like you want high level chipping 101. Like how do you weather like something of this nature? And if that's an F-18 or a Tomcat, and just if the colors are correct, they're not correct. But if just, you know how I'm talking about that pale, dusty, matte, worn, oxidized paint here? And it rotates up to what you see with like human interaction with the paint. When you burnish the paint and when it goes darker, this is exactly what happens. And this is, I mean, I don't think I could do that better on the side of anything if I tried. That's exactly what you want to have happen. So again, what you're seeing is basically, let's do this one more time. Let's go through one more time. This is worth it. This is really worth it, guys. Trust me. Okay. That looks good. Yep, Cliff. Okay, can you do a color modulation with here? Yes, you can. Color modulation is just the way in which you spray. So if you're going to paint that down, James, is you're going to be laying some additional color. The thing you have to be careful of, because modulation builds up paint on paint on paint on paint, you're going to get a relative opacity thickness that's going to fight you with this. So what you're going to have is pretend that that's a modulated panel. This is the area you don't chip. So whatever area you think you're going to chip, that's your lighter area because that's where it's going to get cut through. Otherwise, you're going to have to switch to the other processes I showed earlier in the stream to apply the chips to it. I probably would, if you wanted to chip, you know, remember, I don't know if were you in stream last week, James, when we did this? See how I added the oils? See how that shadow's painted on there? That's not the light. That's all painted on there with the oils. Like I did that like within like 3 seconds. It's super. And Matt and Val, I trust me, I got you. Sal, sorry. We'll get all that with the oils. Yeah, the oils. Let's do this one more. See if we can do this one more time. Because if it's not repeatable, it's worthless. Let's flip it this way. Okay. This is actually kind of fun. I mean, look at that. Because when you rotate around, that's exactly what you see. So I'm kind of pushing center out. I got a little bit of the area. So say that's a cockpit ledge or something. You know, could be any kind of aircraft, Typhoon, Spitfire, Mustang. Pulling a little bit of that thing out there. But what I'm really focused on is over here. Because that could be the cockpit rail right there. And see how that's already starting? See how easy that was? So it's basically an almost dry brush with the water. I'm kind of burnishing the matte paint, and because of the grays and blues do this really nicely. Sometimes the greens do it too, especially if you're kind of a chalky green, like a 4BO or an OD. This stuff's money. I'm not intentionally not doing those because we'll hustle down streams for OD and brush and stuff too. We'll get more. This is really more technique stuff tonight, not so much. I'm just trying to get some general. I almost zoomed the thingy. But see that, guys? See when I pull back that? And this is actually just more of a mist. This isn't so much hairspray as it is how the matte paint in general. See how I'm just kind of burnishing that? So you can see some of the, you get kind of the scuffs, and I'm just gently trying to get some like discolorations in there a little bit, just kind of like scuffs and boots or whatever. You can work with this a lot, and so you get a little bit of chipping up here, you get a little bit of a primer color peeking through, and you can actually see that. You can see a little bit of that rust primer color coming through. Then the gray primer is kind of a metal, you know, and here, I don't know if this will work on the light gray at all, but you can get an aluminum pencil or whatever. Stipples are really great. If you struggle with drawing and stuff, just tap. Little tap. Little tap tap. Okay, it looks like shit on camera. Actually, it looks a little better in person. So pretend that's like gray is actually like a zinc primer or something. So now you can see, there's your combination of all your chipping. There's your cockpit rail and polished aluminum. You have your primer. You have like a secondary camo in there. You have like maybe a top repaint, you know, especially Navy jets. Come on, zoom, zoom. There you go. There you go. There you go. There's the money shot, right? There's your side of your Tomcat, F-18, whatever. You know, this is good stuff. That went well. Yay! Go team! All right, let's see here. How are we doing? A little past midnight, East Coast. Kodakai was a guest in Zach's mirror. Yeah, what's up? Kodakai, Brian, you probably, oh, you're still there. Dilution for sunburn effect? I haven't, Brian. I have not even tried ammonia dilution. So in particular, with ammonia, because you're lacquer based, buddy, you're acrylic lacquer based, Tamiya, Gunzi, all those, ammonia plays with it. Ammonia doesn't play with the organic paints, the Mission Models brand that I'm particularly using tonight, but I've used ammonia for wear and tear effects and other things. But, you know, again, you're using, you know, I'm using water and a water-based organic paint, and so it's pretty healthy all around. You know, if you got pets and kids and stuff, this is super low toxicity. What about spraying a thinner layer of paint coat, thicker layer of hairspray? So let me try this. Arthur says, what about spraying a thinner layer of hairspray, paint, thicker layer of hairspray, top paint? That's kind of what happened over here. I find if you're gonna do like cutting through 3 or 4 layers at one time, this is kind of the result you get. You get kind of that hint. It all works kind of the same, no matter which way you break that down. And I'm gonna roll back up here in a sec, guys. And then we're gonna switch to oils, and we'll get all the other oil paints going. And we'll show you a little bit of weathering. We won't do too much, and then we'll wrap it up. And of course, we'll do plenty more of this stuff. This is hardcore. This is where you guys are in this for the goods. You guys know this is hardcore shit. So Arthur, what I would probably have done if I wanted to do this for real, I would get my metal down, my natural metal, whatever I'm going to use for that. Seal it. Hairspray. It gives you a little bit of, when I say seal, put a mat down on your natural metal. Give you a little, you need some tooth, you need some bite. Wrap that up good, nice and tight. Zinc chromate, whatever your primers, salmon primer, whatever you're doing, get that down. Chip it, seal it, chip it. Hairspray, blues, grays, greens, whatever, Spitfires, Typhoons, whatever you're doing, all good. 109s, 190s. I would probably step it out. If I'm doing contest level building, Arthur, and I'm really taking this seriously, and I'm like, if it's a September show, take your time, do it right. Don't push this if you're really looking for that nth degree, especially when you're really going for the reference photo, like you've got it. You really want to put that with this, combine the two together,
And we'll get into that, I promise, about that. That's the core of everything we're talking about here. Take your reference, whatever it is, you know, I want that effect on this. It's the control level building. The main point, what I'm talking about, which is, I think to your alluding is what you're doing is you're gonna cause yourself a lot of problems. And you saw that right there. That's kind of what's gonna happen, more or less. Your probably crapshoot is gonna be mostly like this, where it's just kind of, you're cutting right through it. You're not gonna get that lift of that top and then like layered out effect. I got a little bit of it here. Not as much as I'd hoped for. So I probably would have, you know, gray, hairspray zinc, get all that going, you know. So what I would do is like this. So this would be step one. So now I could quick spray varnish that, seal this up really good, because this is slick aircraft. This is really smooth chipping. There's no cast textures. There's no, you can't cheat this stuff. So you do have to kind of go through that seal process. Then throw some hairspray down, throw your blues down or whatever is going on top of this, whatever camo color you're going down, and then chip it, and then you'll get, you know, your chip, you know, that whole thing. And then, so that, hopefully that answers it a little bit. I would probably take it a little bit more. I know where you're going with it. It just kind of, it's a crapshoot, but play with it, man. That's the other thing, is really play with it. What would that make the top coat chipper than the next? Yeah, so I kind of answered that. It kind of, if you really want to make it sing, Arthur, I would say, like what I just said, is do it step by step, seal it step, you know, just get one color chipped. So what I would probably do, again, to repeat, seal that yellow, zinc chromate primer, chip it all really good, seal it up, hairspray, then do your navy colors or whatever it is on top. You know, so hopefully that's how I'd probably do it. And we'll show that later. All right, Sylvain, good night, my friend. Thank you so much, you know, for coming through. Yeah, I know, it's late for some of you East Coast guys. Yeah, photography is key, Brian. It's Kodokai. It's everything. It is literally everything. So I'm showing you guys techniques. I'm not really having a conversation too much about one-to-one. That we're just showing you, hey, this is how you do it, and then we'll move forward from here. So yeah, over chip. Yeah. So that was. There you go. Here you go, Zal. That was this. You don't need to strip. We need, you know, sorry, I don't want to get sidetracked. All right, let's show this real quick. Okay, so if this was me, if this was a piece, Sal, and this is got a little love sponge here. These are the best. Actually, get some real cool stuff. There's a whole part about sand and paint to do a lot of these things, but yeah, nothing really looks like this too much, even though it's really super cool. Okay, so you reset that surface. Actually, woo, baby smooth. You can just start over again. Just start over again. Just do it all over. Do it all over again. Okay, hopefully that worked out well. Let's pull in the oils. We'll cut it off with the oils. We'll do a little bit of work on some of these here. Let's see here. We didn't get to the turret tonight. We'll keep going. I mean, we'll do chipping 101 part 2 or whatever. It's fine. It's live streaming. It's all good. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's what I think makes a little bit more sense, Arthur, is that it tends to be a little smarter way through. So let's, where's my thinner here with the oil? I don't have anything taped down like I normally show you, so we're gonna be a little bit quick. I'll just try to be a little bit careful. Usually I double side tape these to the, oops. You guys can see what I'm doing. So this is the OPR palette from Sunday stream. Same colors here. All that's in the description of the last episode. You guys can fall back and go through that. I'd advise, if you're new to this, and this is because you've missed other time slots, episode 5 was, no wait, what are we on, 7? Episode 6. 6 was a big deal episode. We kind of hit some really good stuff all the way through with the oils. Let's get my eyeballs and get the water out of here so I don't actually dip in the water. So pretending you've got everything chipped and you're going along here. Let's pull these two guys in here. All right, we'll zoom back in a sec here. Let's see, what else do I got? Yeah, let's get this guy too. Okay. And here. I promise a lot more of this kind of work in the future too. So this is a good lesson. Dude, I prayed 2 days prep for this, of getting all this right, and I was just clumsy everywhere. To paint, yeah. Yep. You can. Technically, so Brian's asking, you can use your OPR to paint, then back in, or layer some hairspray down, recoat and chip again. Yes, absolutely. So these are literally just the basic building blocks and tools for you guys to really develop out. Anytime you get to a point where you really want to stop and lock something in, yes, go ahead and varnish. It's okay. Again, you will lose that burnishing stuff. Like if you what did I do with that piece? I'll put this on the board. So I will say, if you varnish this, you'll lose a lot of that. You'll lose a ton of that. But it's not the end of the world, because I can come in with oils and re-highlight and darken some stuff and play with some more stuff. But when you re-varnish anything, you're gonna lose the sheen conversation. And that's what I was talking about earlier, is I'm playing up the sheens of matte, semi, gloss, polished surface, and it looks more realistic, that burnished stuff. So that's kind of where I'm going with all that, Bri. But yeah, definitely, you can lock that back down. Like, okay, so Train Dudes, Warhammer, Tabletop, you guys touch a lot of this stuff. So yeah, you want to seal all that up. Let's see what we can do with the oils here. Okay, so let's zoom, zoom. Okay. So we'll work on the baby blue side. We'll worry about the navy stuff later. Again, we'll come back to all this stuff. So I got my thinner, my odorless thinner. I've got my oil palette. Get them out of the way. Got some 2 number 2s. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so let's. Okay, so I've got. So the zoom is this right. There we go. Let's do a little bit of work here. This is the fun part. Get out of my way. I just like this paper towel better for this stuff. This guy. So you won't see that right now, but I'm thinner, unloading, grabbing some color. Okay, oops, fumble. Some of these oils are dried up a little bit. Let me cut this open here. I want some blues. I'm just using, you can see that, never, cool. So that top layer of oils after a couple days, starts to solidify a little bit. So the juicy oil is underneath. That's what you need. That's what I'm doing here. So it's been 3 or 4 days for this palette, so it will dry up in another day or so. Okay, Zal, if you're still in there, let's get back to these questions. Okay, so with OPR and the way I use oils, so you can see this is in here, this is all pure paint, 100% paint, 100%. So I get to start with 100% opacity. I laid on, if you're not familiar, Zal, I'm just gonna assume, where you at? What do you do if they screw up over? Yeah, so we talked about that, but okay, so you're here. So I've got 100% oils. Now they're gonna dry dead matte. That's what we're starting with, and that's what we're going with. How you get the color pop, the richness, here, let's this down here. Okay. So you work in the sense that you have 100% pure. If you use pre-thin, see, I'm using, if you guys aren't familiar yet, so my brush is the volume control knob for how thin or how opaque I want my oil paints to be. I use the thinner on the brush to control that. And what I'm doing is I'm going in the thinner, I'm unloading it, getting some color, because I want a little bit more opacity, say like 60, 70%, just to give you a number. So I got a little oil on there. It's a little bit wet. Okay. Focus on that, dude. There we go. Okay, so see, roadmap. Justin, I don't know if you're still there, if you see this come back around. See all these little chips and marks in here? So for what I see is actually pretty subtle. There it goes, there, yeah. So I'm seeing a lot of little areas I can work with. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a lighter blue in here, going around the rush, and this is just dabbing the oil on super small. See how small that is? You see in the tip of the brush? Kind of get this in here a little bit. And say I want a little bit more of a yellowy green turquoisey kind of a blue out of that. That can stay there. I don't have to worry about that. This is the beauty of oil paints. This is why it's so nice. You have a nice little window. There's no rush. I'm just trying to hustle. Let's see here. So I'm gonna go this on the fly. I'm gonna get a little bit more yellow. I'm gonna get a little bit of this yellow. Come on, yellow. Come on, play with me. Get on. You gotta smash it down a little bit. Let me wipe this out a little bit. Yeah, so I'm at the end of my palette life here. Some of these colors. That means I should make a fresh palette for the next stream, which I will, no problem. So I got a little bit of the yellow, let's get a little bit of the blue here.
Yellow, blue mixed green. I want a little bit of like a yellowy, bluey turquoise. I don't want to go full green. I just want a little bit of. So I'm just going around the little blue spots here. I mean, around the orange rust spots with the lighter color. You got a little bit of the coffee shakes with your hand. You see how refined that is? And you guys can see this is OPR 101. So what I'm trying to do is, where's my little blender dude? My little duder. Okay, so this is a great brush to have. This is a really small rake. See, it's an older splayed bristles like that. This is, I don't even think the size. It's a 1/8, old 1/8 angled rake. A little bit of thinner. Unload it complete. Oops. Yeah. iPhone auto zoom, like give it like a 2, but the camera's like a 9. So it's, yeah. Okay. So see what I've got here. I'll go real slow for you guys because we won't do too much more, but this will be. Okay, so Zal and all this stuff, what we're talking about here is with this process, I'm stippling now. I'm just kind of a stipple blend. I'm not streaking it or anything like that. Oh, I'm off camera a little bit. Stipple, and stipple is your friend. And like I said in other streams, I like to work light to dark. So I'm blending that back out. Just kind of diffuse it a little bit here. So what I want right now, that oil's still wet, so I'll hit this with a hair dryer. So now I've added kind of a worn, kind of patinaed oil layer to that. That's now dry, basically dry. So the translucency is not going to go anywhere else. So what I'm talking about is, see how I've got the variations between the brighter, more opaque areas in there, and then you've got kind of the faded as it comes down here. So with the oil paints and how this works is, because I'm working with pure paint as my primary, not a pre-thin, I'm allowing myself, I'm gonna put a little thinner down, it's staining the surface a little bit. I'm allowing myself much more control. And once it here, again, yeah. So that up here, Zal, that kind of opaque, kind of pop of light blue, pale blue, that'll stay. That won't go anywhere. It won't diffuse or whatever. And probably what's happening is you're probably, I'm guessing you're pre-mixing. You're mixing up little blends of it. But when you do it from the palette with the brush all on the brush, I keep moving all over the place. Oh yeah, this thing is. Come on, where are you? Yeah. So this is, everything happens on the brush, guys. So I can go from 100% paint. I can come back in here and just grab paint, even though it's got a hair thinner to it. And I can come back in here. You can see how these two systems are so powerful. I think you guys will start seeing. So I'm just dapping out like pure paint almost. It's coming in here, a little blue up here, a little blue. I'm just dancing around the rust. Now, if I was really on my game, I would get my Optivizer on. You see how gentle I am? Super delicate, just the tickle, the mighty tickle. The tickle is so powerful. Bring down the best of them. So I'm just building up some other effects. I'm just going around the rust chips a little bit, just kind of like a faded, worn out, kind of a thing. And then I can use this brush as a blender. This is a clean number 2. Okay. Come back in here, just kissing this stuff a little bit. It's not wet at all. This is just a really tight, fine blend. Pull one of these down a little bit, like it was bleeding a little bit, like the paint was bleeding out. And this is kind of that oxidized edge layer near the chip. And again, I would realistically use references for all this stuff. I'm just kind of cleaning up some of the covered rust chips. Some got a little bit of overlay. Just kind of bring those back. I think one of the models you guys might all remember is the ISU 122, the Russian one I did. This is exactly what I did. I did all in the greens on the with the ISU 122. I'm sorry guys, it's getting. This is why night stream's a little. I could use more light. Okay, so let's push it back a little bit. All right, and real quick, and we'll wrap this up here. Let you guys go for the night, and this is plenty of information anyway. So I'm pulling up some really dark brown steel worn metal color, kind of just a general dark brown with a hint of black in it. So what I could do is, see, now I'm actually in the groove after working on this all day and night now. I want to keep going here. So I'm just hitting some of these chips like I did in the first part of the stream. That's why I showed that first. This is just like the sponge chip area. Like it's already got the marks down, so I'm coming in with the darker oil in the centers. I'm just leaving a little bit of the brighter orange to show through. This is actually really good stuff. This is my struggles earlier tonight. A little bit of a redemption, I think. Just using the oil, just super delicate. You know, there's some bigger rust strips, but let's do this. So the roadmap conversation, you guys see this when you rewind and come back through that? So see how I put those 3 spots over there? That's because there's a little bit of a chip there. So let's come back in. And this is what I'm talking about. I didn't have to think about it because those are already there. So if it's not streaking quite right, you can always get a little bit more. You put pure paint down, just a dab, a little dab will do you. Come back with your blender, pull from the bottom of that. See how soft and subtle that is? So see all those little hot spots in there? Okay, we don't like those. That's what happens with the light actually, because I can see this stuff. Yeah, that's why you guys, let's just pull these guys out. And this is the power of the oils when you can kind of really start to fine tune. A little spot that was too strong, cut that back a little bit. Cut these down a little bit, soften this up. Just kind of like a little bit more realistic. See how that streak is? That streak's just a hint of history. It's not beating up the model, and it's not overpowering it a little bit. So in this way, built it up really subtle now. And that's just using the chip surface as my guide about where everything goes. Just soften that up a little bit. So then what we can do is, remember it's the same blue paint as before. Let's take a little bit of the water here. Start burnishing some of the flat area down here so you get a little bit more of a contrast between matte and satin. Just dry that off a little bit. There you go. So now you can see how that panel is really starting to come alive. It's got like a cast texture in there. You've got like oxidized chip paint up in here. You've got a little bit of bleeding rust. So this could be a Navy ship of some form, or something that's a little bit more moisture-rich environment in terms of your chipping. And if some of that's even too strong still, because actually on camera it makes it way more, in person it's not quite so bad. But that's good because that's what it photographs, so I know I'm a little bit strong here. Well, I'm getting a hot glare though. So I'm just kicking down some of the hot spots. A little bit of thinner on the brush. Just knock those back a little bit. And it's that easy to do. That's actually was really enjoyable. I actually, you know, like I'm relaxed. Like I could do the whole side. Cause see how you have these other little marks over here? You can just kind of keep going and take that around. So that little section would be done. So I've got this going a little bit. Hold on one second. Let's see if I can do this real quick, super quick. This will be the final. Just cutting this blue up. This blue is a little bit dry. Okay. Since the navy blue's right there, since it's there. Okay, let's get kind of a bluer. Okay. I don't know how this is gonna look on the dark. That's almost a dark gray blue. Okay, same idea, just straight on the surface. I don't even care. I'm not varnishing or nothing. Boom, done. Going around the yellows a little bit. Tapping that out. There's enough thinner on there already. So let's blend this out a little bit. So I'm just working with the shapes that are in there, just kind of cleaning out the centers a little bit, pushing that lighter oil towards the edges. This is why I like this technique so much. Let's dry that off real quick. It's probably not the right color for that, but it was close enough to government work to show you. So now I'm starting to kind of tint that blue a little bit. But you can see this panel over here, then when I'm starting to, that's just like the first hint. Yeah. And you can see how that's not like 100% perfect. I can come back in here and I'll wrap this up with questions here in a sec, so get ready. Let's push down. Let's get a little bit more of the raw blue. I'm just wiping some of that baby blue away a little bit. Pushing a little bit into the yellow so there's a little bit of a color bleed for the yellow. There it goes. So there. You can see it on camera a little bit. So that's just kind of weathering and kind of fading that little scratch chipped area in there. And that would just be the first step. But that actually looks pretty good up there too. Yeah, you can see that streak. That streak's that's what I'm talking about, guys. Like subtle, man. Don't beat people up over that stuff. Get that streak on there. I mean, that's a 1/700 scale streak if I wanted it to be on the side of a battleship. If I was that good, I'm not. But I don't know how you guys do that small shit. 1/100, 1/144. That's that. I'm good. 1/700. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's catch up. Let's catch up. I'm sorry I haven't been. You get in the zone, and I've got to really focus. So yeah, you can see night stream. There you go. Portland at night. Is this thing still focusing, or is it? Yeah, doesn't like me anymore. So let's back that up. Yeah, get some cool. Get a little night shot going on there. All right. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So what do we got here? AK does own at 502. They bought them out. That was the old MiG Productions oil. I think they're separate, but they're all owned under MiG Productions, and then they bought a lot of the stuff from 502 as they closed down. Yeah, so I use the cardboard. So the oil brushers from Ammo, I'm still gonna do this because regardless of what they all say and do and think, I'm not putting raw oil out of those things onto my model, because this process that I've just shown, it doesn't work that way.
you have to pull the linseed oil out. Even if there's a little bit of linseed oil from the factory, you have to get it out and then work with this. You're working with this stuff. That's the beauty of it. That 100% paint kind of an idea. Just putting it from a brush out of the mat. Oh, geez, that's blue. Gee, damn it. Sorry, making a mess. Yeah, it's all fuzzball. It's not focusing. Anyway. Yeah, technical difficulties all the way through, guys. Thanks, man. Thank you, Brian. That's too kind. Too kind. But yeah, I'm happy with this. Like if I'm, you know, let's get the light on that bad boy. Yeah, right there. You see that? That's money. I love it. There you go. Little end of days. We'll continue on. All these pieces I'll keep using. I promise. This is, you know, we're just getting going. Yeah, we'll play with some stuff. Here. You know what? This is how easy it is. Now I don't want the blue. Now it keeps coming on. I can't win. Where's my gray? Here, we'll just do it. Just a little bit of a love tap on this. Same thing too. So see all this right in here? I need more oils. Yeah, I'm hustling. I should have signed off. I can't do this. So we're just going right over that little. See how I'm using the chips as kind of my guide? That's on the raw train toy plastic paint job. Like I didn't even do anything. Let's do just a little love tap. Soften that back edge a little bit. Top this with a hairdryer. Let's see if this pops up a little bit. There's just a hint of that lighter gray on the back edge, right in there. So if I wanted to, that wasn't strong enough. My oils are dry here. Get on the brush. Yeah, this palette's on its last day. And that's how you can tell. When you can't get the oil on the brush, that's time to redo. And this gray's probably. Tap out. See, this is so adjusting the volume, Cal and all, Zal and all you guys. Sorry if I get the names wrong. So that's a little bit more aggressive. There's thinner in there already. I don't need to add more. That's usually where you guys will have problems. You start adding more thinner. You don't need to. It's already in there. Try that up again. So you're getting kind of a lighter color shift in there. I should have signed off. I'm sorry. Oh, shit. Guys are killing me with this stuff. I am screwing that up big time tonight. Sorry, guys. So traditional oil wash process, just thin, dark, grimy, greasy oil. Just terrible camera work tonight. I really apologize for that. That's just being a rookie. I know better. Just making a quick pin wash, dark brown, kind of greasy, grimy. Trains are the best for this stuff. This is so fun. And that's just straight on the raw plastic. I didn't even do anything. It's a little bit on the slick side. See how that sheen's on there? That's just a thinner. Wipe some of that. Get that fresh air dry that real quick. I mean, it's not my best work, but I mean, that's coming along. So any of those streaks are a little strong. You can kind of blend them back out. So this will kick off and cure, 48 hours, 72 hours. To where this is really, really, like once this fully dries, you actually don't have to seal this if you don't want to. I mean, if you're a train guy and you think you're going to handle it, quite a bit, you might want to, but this is paint. Oil will do its thing. Okay. Yeah, that's a little. There you go, it's that fast. I mean, I just want to show you how quick that goes. Yeah, boom, I'm done. Okay. Thank you, Darren. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm just bumping and screwing up the camera stuff, but yeah. I mean, the information's there, so that's important. That's the most important stuff. Also night, too. I don't have any extra lights for the thing, so I use a lot of the daylight. Chris, thank you. Are you still up, brother? Thank you, man. You guys are too nice. Thank you. Yeah, sorry about the cameras again. No, I'm in the zone. Doesn't care about the camera. Yeah, I know. Just what happened, totally. Another great episode. Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot. This is 3 hours. You got to go back through and everything. But you're seeing the heart of chipping. It's this intense. It's this requires that much attention to detail. Teach us on the yeah. I will do color theory for sure. Like lightening and darkening colors. Absolutely. Color theory is a big deal. Zenithal lighting, all that stuff. We'll go through it all. I do my color modulation under Zenithal lighting principles. So yeah, we'll get into it. Leo, since you mentioned large scales, do you think? I personally don't, Leo. I don't have time, or what am I going to do? 16 scale. This is big enough for me. Even the 32nd scale planes. The one thing I will say, hey, Skyers, you're in there, buddy. I will comment though on this is that for publication work, I can show you 100% everything on a 48 scale Tamiya Corsair as I would on a 32nd scale Tamiya Corsair. It's going to take me 5 to 6 times, 10 times longer on the 32nd because it just the jump in scale is exponential. It's not like a little thing. So to do a whole wing in a bigger, like a B17 32nd scale, I'm going to be here all day. And I think we need to see for book stuff, for book work in particular. We'll show some bigger stuff and how you switch. It's mostly just a brush, upscale your brushes and stuff. So if I'm using a number 2, switch to number 4, number 8s, to bump it up. Yeah, taking overnight. No, he's my bro. We're talking Saturday, by the way. I don't know if podcast is allowed to talk about it. I don't know if Scott or the boys are there. Martin Kovac, Adam Wilder. We're doing our combos on Saturday afternoon. I think it'll debut a week or two after. So I'm excited. I know Adam pretty well. I don't know Martin one-to-one very well, but we know each other through the internet for a long time. I remember when he was a wee lad. So yeah, I'm just sticking it to him. He's got a broken leg. He's throwing shit at the camera. He's like, shut up. Just kidding. You guys know it's all good. All in good humor. You're not Canadian. Yeah, I just feel bad. I just, I don't like the camera where you guys aren't seeing that stuff. It's important. So, I'm a perfectionist, guys. It's just part of how I am. But yeah, please do a live stream around this time. I will. I'll try to keep this up. I'll try to keep up the night stream. I'll do a little bit better prep. Probably less on the agenda. I'll try to fine tune it. And then for my there's a lot of Gunpla tonight. You boys are getting your own. I'm going to branch these off. I'm going to do a tank stream, a Gundam stream one night, a train stream, so I can focus. Because I think it's going to be a little bit better content as I push forward. I was trying to shotgun too much tonight. I should do like a sponge chipping show, for Gundam and all the other dudes, and then do a hairspray chipping show again. We'll repeat though. Don't worry. We'll go over this all over again. This is just first intro. Early days. Where do you find the Plastic Posse podcast? Just look it up. Plastic Posse, Posse podcast. They're on Facebook, and so they have their own Facebook page, and then you can. I think they're on the. I see them on Spotify. Their podcast, so that they're out there. Yeah, me too, Arthur. It's gonna be a good one. When we get to it, what I'll do is I'll link in the description. Sorry, brain is just done. Night streams. I've been up all day too, so I usually stream at noon. But anyway, that's fucking looking good, boys and girls. Look at that. That is that you dude, that was what was that? 20, 30 seconds worth of work in terms of the actual oil work on top of the chipping. So this is why I'll wrap this up with that final thoughts, deep thoughts, Mike Rinaldi, is the chipping, the importance of chipping early. What I like to teach you guys in terms of the books, everything you read, everything is get your painting, your chipping, your markings, get that all done early, because what that does is dictate all the weathering to come. And you don't have to think nearly as much about, yes, you do, but it's, you know, like I said, I could chip that piece and then bail. I can come back a month or two later, you know, and finish this up with weathering, because the story's there. That all the pieces of the chapters of the story are right there in front of you. All you got to do is just fill in the blanks a little bit. Got a little spot on that. But that's the importance of why I'm showing you this way. We did this the first 5 minutes of the stream. Again, please forgive. Chris Pabs, is that your chips? It's got to be a chips, Chris Pabs chips. But that's what I'm talking about, where I redeem myself, and then we're able to salvage that, and then with a little bit of color, there's a little bit of light gray. There's no rust oils on that at all. And then where's my pencil thing here? You can even come back and just kiss that with a little graphite, just in that hot spot, and you just get a little, just see how easy this all is? It's super, just do it with the pencil. It's my Taxis pencil. This is what I use. That's it. Yeah, so that's kind of talking about storytelling in one arc, the roadmap for your weathering. And those of you new to weathering, this is, get it down. You get your references. You get, I want it to look like this. And then this is what you follow through with. Get all your chipping, all your markings, all your painting, get it all done. And then you just roll through these processes here. And this is the core. This is it. This stream was a shit show, but it was a good one, apparently. Yeah, thank you, Cliff. Yeah, there's a lot, and it is in real time. And there is the flex of painting real time, and actually the painting all went fine. I just had some camera issues and just not paying attention. But yeah, so yeah. Anything else, guys, before we wrap up? Oh, that's so funny. Not Canadian. I have so many Canadian friends that it's just so fun. No, usually I don't, Zal. I don't add clear coats on top of my oil work. Usually, so when we get into weathering situations, the only reason I would actually advise it if you're going to do that is you're a tabletop gamer. You're a rail guy where you know. Now, granted, if I'm a rail guy, I'm gonna be grabbing it in a couple spots where I'm not going to be messing up the paint. Technically, you don't have to, Zal, because it's paint. When the paint dries and cures, it's just like the paint on anything else. You don't have to top coat it. You know, it's not going outside, so technically, no. It's overkill, but I understand. So go ahead if you have to. Understand that though. So once you top coat all of this, it's a zero sheen conversation. Whatever matte, satin, or gloss, whatever you use, that's what you're getting. So all these little variations and stuff that you're seeing there, you're gonna lose it all. And that's why I don't usually for contest work, for handling, gaming, all that stuff, train gaming, playing around with your toys, Gundams, you got to pose it 50 fucking ways, all that stuff. Yes, you can. You're going to lose some of it. Also, though, last point, your finger grease on a top coat will come in over time as well. So understand that does play down the road too. So hopefully that kind of, it's how I feel on all that stuff personally. So I would, if I'm doing a model, this is boom done, and I'm not going to be like, whatever, then it's on a base or a stand. That's it, man. You don't be touching that thing anymore. Put it in the closet or sell it to somebody else. Let them deal with it. Then you deal with the clear coat. Stream is 100% level of chaos. Thank you, Justin. Yeah, a lot of skill sets here. This is. I'm trying to cut through to everybody. I want that. I want you guys fresh, coming in, coming, going. It's all that cool. I found. Okay, thanks so much. Yeah, posing is easy part. Just pay attention to other body works. Yeah, absolutely. Don't be posing like a little goober. Got to get that hero pose down. Get them hips thrown back. Right. All right, guys, that's it. It's 10 o'clock here. It's wherever you're at. I really appreciate Leo. I hope this really helped you, because I know you've had some personal with the chipping stuff. I hope this kind of cuts through the informational gap we tried to talk about. So hopefully that you can see that. You know, it's you, this dude. It's literally every single thing we do, guys. It's either it's one of two things. That's it. It's you, this, and what's in here and what's on that. That's everything. Remember that. All right. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go watch some TV and go to bed. Love you guys. Thank you. Like and share the stream, all that fun stuff, and we'll see you on the next one. We'll shoot for Sunday noon, and I'll promo that stuff later this week for you guys, all that stuff. So yeah, Singapore, awesome. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know you're out there. Yeah, you're welcome, guys. Thanks again. Have a good night, good day, good afternoon, all that fun stuff. We'll see you soon.